Chapter 235. The 5 armies, Stardust, and the others all turned to look at that person. At that moment, everyone's eyes were wet. He was back. The person they had always believed in was back. He didn't abandon them. Boss! Xian was already sobbing. At that moment, they were like bullied children who saw their big brother. On the city wall, Ning Shuang was so excited that she couldn't speak. Her master was back. The god of war that she had always admired was back. The entire streaming platform and all the top streaming rooms were in an uproar. It's Nameless, it's Nameless. He's back. I already said that he didn't run away. It was an accident. I don't believe the **T of those closed beta players. Nameless, if you don't kill those people, I'll look down on you. Rain God Ling Tian narrowed her eyes slightly. John Doe actually appeared. Telling everyone to retreat. He wants to fight all of us alone? Ha 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 ha, what a fantasy. Just in time. I was afraid that you wouldn't come online. Lu Qin looked at his friends and repeated, "Everyone, come back." Nameless' appearance caused the situation to change. Ling Tian and the others had long lost interest in killing these small fries, so they didn't stop them from leaving. The level 30 players returned to Nameless, followed by Stardust and the others. Stardust walked to Nameless' side. The two of them, who should have had a lot to say, only had a short conversation. Stardust said, "Be careful." Lu Qin nodded and patted Stardust's shoulder. "Thanks." Then, he looked at the opposite side. Lu Qin walked towards the enemy alone. He said word by word, "Today, I don't care how many of you there are, I don't care what reason you have, I don't care who's behind you. I'll say this. From today onwards, your accounts are useless." Lu Qin's words were so domineering. He was probably the only one in the entire Jiutian who could say that their accounts were useless. What? Their accounts are useless? Ha 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 ha, Nameless, do you know, this is the funniest joke I've heard this year. Ling Tian Rain God laughed out loud. Great. You think you're invincible just because you have some trashy orange equipment? Ha ha ha, your orange equipment is just a joke in front of me. If you have the guts, why don't you destroy my account? The closed beta players burst into laughter, but Lu Qin remained unmoved. He rolled his eyes and looked at the crowd. Looks like you guys want to mess with me too. Why don't we play a little bigger? Hearing Nameless say this, Rain God Ling Tian and the others were furious. Nameless liked to raise the stakes every time he gambled with someone. He even used this method to win one of their sacred beasts. However, he was not Ling Long. This time, he had to take back double what he had lost in the past. Up to you. We'll play as big as you want. To be honest, I'm afraid you won't be able to afford it. Lu Qin laughed coldly. Alright, I'll set the rules then. After setting the rules, Lu Qin placed the challenge message between the two of them. A translucent message appeared in front of everyone. Lu Qin gave Rain God Ling Tian and the others a quota of 1,000 people for the duel. On his side, there was only one person. Of course, that was himself. The duel's condition was that both parties had to be forced to revive 50 times. The additional bet was 100 million renminbi. There was also a special condition marked in red. Both parties have to activate 100% pain sensitivity. Seeing this condition, even Rain God Ling Tian could not remain calm. The entire Firmament City went crazy. Damn, this bet, this condition, Nameless is sure he's not crazy? One person against 1,000 people. Did he forget that he's fighting against max-level players with godly equipment? Isn't this suicide? Forced to revive 50 times, this is going to make him drop his underwear. He actually activated 100% pain sensitivity. Isn't this bet a little too big? Fiend City Ruins only required 10% pain sensitivity. If he activated 100%, wouldn't it be the same as in real life? Lu Yi, Ning Shuang, Leng Nuo, and the others, even those who were on Lu Chen's side, were so scared that their faces turned pale. They were speechless for a long time. Winchim was so shocked that she covered her mouth, afraid that she would scream. Her stream was already covered by several layers of comment. She could not see the message at all. What the F***ck? This is the biggest bet in history. Isn't Nameless too arrogant? Isn't this a little too much? Oh my god, does Nameless really think that he can win? I heard that Rain God is super strong. All his divine martial sets are strengthened by 5. He's like a monster. Nameless is digging a hole for himself. Nameless looked at the shocked Rain God Ling Tian and sneered. What, you don't dare to accept? Only then did Rain God Ling Tian come back to his senses. To be honest, he had never seen such a terrifying bet after playing games for so long. What was funny was that his opponent seemed to be sick in the head, sending such a good thing to him. Ha 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 ha, I'm scared? You must be dreaming. I just can't believe that a pie would fall from the sky. Fine, I'll sign it. Put the money in first. Rain God's financial strength was also very terrifying. He quickly transferred over 100 million. Lu Chen's side just had to transfer the money. Rain God's side quickly entered the duel list. Once they were on the duel list, their pain system would be forcibly locked to 100%. Not long after, all 586 people were on the duel list. Both sides clicked confirm at the same time. The duel entered the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Every time the countdown ticked, Lu Yi, Ning Shuang, and Ling Nua felt that they were going to die once. Finally, the strongest duel in Jiutian history had begun. After the duel began, Lu Chen turned around to look at the tower. Lu Yi and Ning Shuang were there. The two women who had fought before were now holding hands and looking at him nervously because of their nervousness. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. These two guys, it can be said that they didn't know each other until they fought. Hey, you two, don't just be in a daze. Learn from me. Lu Chen had not forgotten his master's identity. As a result, Lu Chen's actions angered the max-level players. Nameless, do you really think you're so powerful? In our eyes, you're just trash. Everyone, let's go and enjoy the pleasure of torturing people. Looking at the crowd rushing toward him, Lu Chen pulled out the wishful staff and the devil blade. Trash? Sorry, in my eyes, you're not even trash. You're not qualified to torture me. Remember my words, in my eyes. You're just ants. Devil transformation. With a bang, Lu Chen's figure was suddenly surrounded by a cloud of black gas. Then, his figure suddenly expanded several times, reaching a height of 4 or 5 meters. At this time, Nameless was no longer nameless. Its pure black skin was billowing with black fog. Its pair of blood demon flashed red. The blood demon wings behind it were perfectly compatible with the devil form. This was not a player, but a devil from hell. The devil's mouth opened, revealing a terrifying smile. Very good, the prey has taken the bait. Then, let's start the slaughter. Chapter 236. F***ck, what's that? Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. I heard Nameless say it was a transformation. F***ck, what's this skill? This is 2 F** king cool. It's so cool, I really want this skill. What class skill is this? That's right, Nameless was no longer considered ugly after transformation. Although it had nothing to do with the traditional definition of a handsome guy, the demon was just too cool. His body was huge, and his whole body was emitting black gas. Every time he moved his head, his bloody eyes would leave a red afterimage. He was the embodiment of evil. Unfortunately, it was rare for players to say that Lu Chen was cool, but he didn't care. He only had eyes for these enemies. F***ck, what skill is that? Don't be afraid, it's just a transformation skill. No matter how strong he is, he can't be stronger than the bosses in the Tower of Babel. He's far from it. 100% pain sensitivity, right? I'll make you regret it. Outer Sky Sword Formation. He can go invisible, I'll locate him. Beginner tracking, power shot. Fire bullet rain. Seeing this, Ning Shuang's heart couldn't take it anymore. This was a 100% pain sensitivity system. Was there any way to survive after being hit by so many skills? However, Lu Chun had already seen through the positions of these skills. It was easy for him to dodge. Lu Chun didn't care about these skills. He quickly activated the next skill. Clone. The clone had 0.2 seconds of invulnerability. It could dodge some skills and cancel the marked status at the same time. Of course, the most important thing was that the clone would disrupt the player's vision. They couldn't immediately distinguish between the original and the clone. When Lu Chun completed the clone, they were stunned. There were very few group attacks that had a second attack. Occasionally, there would be a second attack, but Nameless easily dodged it. Including the original, there were a total of 6 demons. What? There are 5 clones, which one is the original? F***CK, how did that guy dodge all the skills? How do we determine which one is the real one? What I want to know is whether John Doe is among them. Last time, John Doe used his doppelganger and invisibility to trick Ling Long. Nameless methods were always hard to predict. Many closed beta players were hesitant. What should they do now? Don't be hasty. Try attacking first and see if you can differentiate between the clone and the main body. Rain God Ling Tian immediately gave the order. However, at this moment Wu Ming moved. Rapid movement, earth-splitting chasm. While moving at high speed, Lu Chen's staff smashed into the most densely populated area, instantly causing a massive amount of damage. These people's ability to withstand damage was different. With this one hit, the damage was basically 30 to 40,000. After taking this hit, many people's HP dropped by a large amount. Under the effect of the 100% pain perception system, many people directly spat out a mouthful of blood. When had these people ever turned on their pain sensitivity to 100%? A single hit was enough to cause 1/4 or 1/5 of fatal damage. That was definitely not a normal amount of pain. Instantly, the entire place was filled with wailing sounds. F***CK, it hurts. My shoulder. This really isn't a joke. How dare you touch my people? You must be tired of living. Nameless snorted coldly. At the same time, 5 clones rushed into the crowd. The clones inherited the main body's passive, which meant that they also had critical hit, split, combo, and poison. With 80% of the damage inherited, the clones also had extremely terrifying damage. With one hit, a large area was split, and the wailing of max-level players could be heard everywhere. This is the main body. This is definitely the main body. Medicine Master, save me. I can't, I'm dying. What the F***CK is this attack? 100,000 damage per hit. No, the main body is with us. F***CK, the damage is too terrifying. No, I can't hold on for much longer. The first person who was hit, under the effect of poison, suffered over 200,000 damage and was instantly killed. Rain God Ling Tian was stunned. According to these players, the 6 demons should all be the main body. The string of numbers was unimaginable. The scene of 600 people chasing after one person did not happen. Instead, it was the 6 demons chasing after a group of people, under the 100% pain. These max-level players who were still clamoring before were all shaken after their bodies were heavily injured. More than half of them were already at critical health. They did not dare to continue fighting, and had already started to abandon their weapons and equipment, fleeing in all directions. Unfortunately, even if they were to compare speed, they could not compare to these demons. The demons were crazily harvesting. F***CK, what kind of monster is this? Are all the clones this strong? With 80% of the damage inherited, normal players would not be able to differentiate the clones based on their attack power. Rain God Ling Tian had the 5 gods martial arts set, but he did not know who to target. Rain God, hurry up and attack, we can't hold on any longer. These clones are too strong. F***ck, this split is so painful. It almost killed me. Rain God, hurry up and attack. Rain God was panting. Facing Nameless, he did not have 100% confidence that he could win. If he could wait until Nameless transformation and clones ended, then he would have a much higher chance of winning. However, the surrounding minions were wailing. Previously, they had killed Lu Chen's friends endlessly, but now, their bodies were suffering unimaginable pain. Now, the max-level players no longer had the demeanor of an expert. Their previous arrogance had turned into screams like pigs being slaughtered. They could not defeat the clones, and they were afraid of being hit, so they only cared about escaping. Now, the only one who could fight Nameless was himself, who had the 5 gods martial arts set. However, Rain God did not attack in the end. Rain God clenched his teeth and said to himself, "You guys just hold on for a while. When his skill ends, I will avenge you." At this moment, a demon not far away roared, "Monkey King's reverse blood." With a boom, the surrounding ground shook, and close to 100 players were stunned. Next, it was time to harvest. With one hit, 54433, double critical hit. 15750, poisoned. 15750, poisoned. 98444, triple critical hit. 15750, poisoned. 15750, poisoned. That one hit directly killed a large number of players. It's him. Rain God Ling Tian was finally sure that this guy was Nameless' original body. Nameless was still unscathed. Damn it, that bunch of trash should have at least taken some of his HP. Rain God cursed. Now, he could only stare at that guy. Once his skill ended, it would be time for him to attack. Why isn't it over yet? Most of my people are dying. Rain God said anxiously. After Lu Chen killed a group of players, he glanced at the battlefield. At this moment, the battlefield was filled with corpses. Currently, there were still some fish that escaped the net and experts with the divine martial arts set. He could leave them to his clones. However, the Rain God was still standing there. After thinking for a bit, Lu Chen knew what he was thinking. Waiting for my skill to end? That guy probably didn't know that as long as his clones didn't die, it would be a seamless summon. Whatever, after I take care of these people, I'll deal with him. Divine Martial Protection. A player with the Divine Martial Arts set suddenly appeared behind Lu Chen. Strongest War God Charge. With a bang, that guy slammed into Lu Chen. 27444. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of Lu Chen's mouth. He turned his head slightly and stared at that person with a pair of terrifying blood-red eyes. Strongest War God Charge? This was the power of the Divine Martial Arts set? Lu Chen could only laugh. Lu Chen's HP didn't drop by much, but what made him unhappy was that he was actually bleeding. Young man, your damage is quite high. That person looked at the monster in front of him, his head buzzing. High damage? Hi my ass, I only dealt a sliver of damage to Nameless. Now that guy seemed to be angry. Who knew what he was going to do? The demon grinned. Lu Chen was horrified by the demon's smile. It's my turn now. Devour. Chapter 237. What happened next was the scariest scene in the history of Jiutian games. The devil opened his bloody mouth, so big that it was unforgettable. Then, he swallowed the player with the divine martial set in one gulp, swallowed. The world was quiet. The players on the city wall were all pale, their brains short-circuiting. The comments in the livestream stopped for once. Ning Shuang covered her mouth and looked at the scene in horror. Her eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Lu Yi was so scared that her face turned pale. She was petrified. The other players who were still running for their lives were all frozen. Lu Chen shook his head and finally retracted his venomous mouth. Then, he wiped his mouth and said, "Ah, it tastes good." Puff, blood sprayed out from the city wall. Who knew how many players heard this and suffered from serious internal injuries? Too scary. He really ate someone? Damn, there's such a skill? My eyes are already blind. This is 2F** King Shameless. Damn, my thoughts are in a mess. Is Nameless a human or a devil? Even a boss doesn't have this skill. Isn't the divine martial set the strongest equipment in the first heaven? How could it be swallowed in one gulp? What kind of equipment does Nameless have? Feng Ling's expression was the same as Ning Shuang's. In fact, most of the girls had the same reaction. Horror, disbelief, it was too unbelievable. My God, Nameless is too strong. Brother, you're wrong. Nameless isn't strong, it's scary. It's the biggest bug in Jiutian. Ling Tian was on the verge of breaking down. If Nameless used that skill on her, there would be no point in fighting. The key was, what would happen if she was swallowed? Would her account disappear? Or would her character disappear? Would she be sealed in that guy's stomach forever? The more she thought about it, the more terrified she became. No, impossible, he can't swallow me. Using her last bit of rationality, Rain God forced herself to calm down. Nameless didn't use this overpowered skill before. Why? Because 99% of these people were maxed out. He probably wouldn't be able to swallow it. The guy that Nameless devoured was his good friend. Of course, only his good friend could get the divine martial arts set. That guy got in through the back door and was only level 44, while Nameless was level 45. Nameless chose to devour that guy, which meant that there must be a level restriction. His level must be lower than his. Yes, that must be it. That must be it. The Rain God repeatedly emphasized his point of view, but when he lowered his head, he realized that his hand that was holding the divine martial spear kept shaking. It had to be said that the Rain God had some brains. His analysis was very close to the description of the Devour skill. Devour. Directly devour a non-boss unit whose level and star level are lower than your own to obtain the creature's appearance and ability. Duration, 24 hours. Cooldown, 600 seconds. Nameless did not devour others previously because of the level restriction. It was rare to meet such a low-level player, so he naturally couldn't wait to try out this skill. However, in the current situation, only Rain God had the time to make such a calm analysis. The other max-level players were really scared out of their wit. It's too scary. I'd rather be killed than be devoured. 100% pain. That's too scary. I'm going to have nightmares tonight. It's over. We can't win. We can't even beat his doppelganger. Why, he's only level 45. His doppelganger can chase after 600 of us and kill us. What about the divine martial arts set? Why is the divine martial arts set useless in front of him? Isn't it the strongest orange equipment set? Why is it so weak? Under the influence of fear, they had already forgotten about the battle and were just waiting for the devil's doppelganger to harvest. Not long after, these defeated soldiers were all cleaned up. The battlefield was littered with players' corpses. Under the condition of 100% pain sensitivity, the expressions of their corpses were very painful. The small soldiers were all taken care of, so there was only one left. The time for transforming and doppelganger had disappeared. Nameless once again returned to his human form. At this moment, an angry roar came from behind Lu Chun. Strongest divine martial art charge. Nameless, your ultimate skill is gone. I'm not afraid of you. Lu Chun turned around and saw Ling Tian Rain God rushing towards him. He immediately roared, "Devour!" What happened next was a strange scene. Ling Tian Rain God's strongest divine martial art charge performed an extreme drift and turned a corner in front of Lu Chun. Divine martial art charge was indeed a good skill. The faster the Rain God came, the faster he left. After Ling Tian Rain God stopped, he looked at Nameless in shock. I dodged your devour? He couldn't believe it himself. When Nameless used devour, Ling Tian was completely flustered. Previously, he said that devour could only devour those who were lower level than him. However, since Nameless used it, it meant that it could devour him. Nameless couldn't possibly not defend himself and use a skill that had no effect on him. Fortunately, he reacted fast enough and changed his move in time to avoid being devoured. The people on the city gate were also shocked. Wow, Rain God's reaction is really fast. He actually dodged Devour. Can he even dodge that skill? Looks like the number 1 player in the closed beta is not just for show. I think these two people are on the same level. To be able to avoid John Doe's attack, this was definitely a milestone event, which meant that Devour could also be dodged. Rain God's confidence also exploded at this moment. He coldly snorted. Nameless, your skill is indeed overpowered. However, it's useless in front of me. You don't know the difference between the 5 Gods martial arts set and the average divine martial arts set. Today, I will avenge my brothers. In fact, both Nameless supporters and anti-fans wanted an answer. Devour could be dodged. Everyone looked at Nameless. They wanted to hear his explanation for this mistake. If he admitted that Rain God dodged Devour, it meant that they would not necessarily die if they encountered this skill in the future. Lu Chun found it a little funny. I was just scaring you. Look at what you can do. Rain God almost spat out a mouthful of blood, and all the players were speechless. F***ck. Nameless is playing with Rain God. He was just using the empty fort stratagem. Not only did he play with Nameless, I feel like he played with everyone. Can that damned skill be dodged or not? I think so. Jiutian's skills rely on control and prediction. No matter how strong Devour is, he won't be able to devour beyond the distance. The players were still very conflicted about this skill. This skill was too scary. They wanted to find some psychological comfort. Let's not talk about this. From the expressions of the closed beta players, that skill should only be available to Nameless. Unless someone wants to mess with Nameless, there's no point in discussing this. When Nameless revealed the truth, they recalled Rain God Ling Tian's extreme maneuver. Suddenly the atmosphere changed. I suddenly feel that Rain God is very funny. 1 second, he was full of fighting spirit. The next second, he ran faster than anyone else. I'll give 99 points for this drift. I was afraid that he would get arrogant. Speaking of which, this is the strongest player in the closed beta? He's wearing a 5 Gods orange equipment set. He was played to this extent. Where's the judgment of a god? Mocking laughter came from all around. Rain God Ling Tian's face turned pale. He, Rain God Ling Tian, had become the laughingstock of everyone. Damn it, Nameless. I'll kill you. Divine martial armor. Ares possession. Chapter 238. Behind Rain God, a god of war virtual image appeared. It was 15 meters tall, covered in golden armor, and held a spear and a shield. The virtual image stood behind Rain God like a guardian deity. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. The divine martial set had such a skill, and it looked quite impressive. Nameless, you've exhausted all your skills, and I'm at full capacity now. You're finished. Lu Chen pursed his lips. That's true. It's time to settle the score between us. At this time, the confrontation between the 2 strongest players in the server had finally begun. God of War charge. This time, Rain God's charge was faster than before, and with the God of War virtual image accompanying him, it looked amazing. Lu Chen snorted. Quick move. Earth-splitting chasm. The 2 of them moved at high speed, and it was impossible to see their figures clearly. All that could be seen was the Wishful Staff's virtual image smashing towards Rain God from an unexpected angle. Damn, he can hit it even at this speed. Isn't that a bit too exaggerated? A player beside Ning Shuang was stunned. Lu Yi frowned and murmured, Boss doesn't rely on reaction to attack, but on prediction. Ning Shuang was surprised. Prediction? How can he predict that? Lu Yi shook her head. It's not impossible for that guy, but don't get distracted. My brother said that prediction is the most basic skill for an expert. Predicting your prediction is a higher realm. It's impossible to determine the winner with just one move. Ning Shuang hurriedly looked at the battlefield. Earth-splitting chasm smashed towards Rain God, and Rain God reacted quickly. God of War, counter shield. The huge god raised his shield and blocked the attack. Not only that, but after the virtual image blocked Earth-splitting chasm, it fiercely pulled out his shield, causing a strong reaction force. Ling Nuo exclaimed, "No way, it can block Earth-splitting chasm." Ing Jun shook his head. Earth-splitting chasm is only the special effect of the wishful staff. It's normal for it to be easily blocked by the special effect of the level 50 orange equipment. Just as Earth-splitting chasm was blocked, Nameless instinctively wanted to use quick move to dodge, but a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. It actually had a defensive counterattack skill. The divine martial set wasn't trash after all. These people were able to defeat the second boss of Tong Tian Tower. Just how strong were they? Would he be able to pass the first floor's Heaven Domain boss? It would be best if he could feel it. After a moment of hesitation, he did not dodge in the end. However, before that, just a few tenths of a second before the earth-splitting chasm was about to hit him, Lu Chen activated another skill. Little ones, let's borrow some blood and be the best. Before Du Zun's blood sacrifice shield could be formed, Lu Chen was directly hit by the earth-splitting chasm. His own attack was also very painful. He lost more than 30,000 HP and was stunned for 3 seconds. After being concentrated, a layer of red mist began to appear on Lu Chen's body. The blood sacrifice shield was finally formed. However, in the eyes of the Rain God, he only saw Lu Chen lose close to 40,000 HP from his own earth-splitting chasm. As for the blood-red mist that appeared on Lu Chen's body, it was probably a visual effect created by the equipment that reduced part of the damage. Ha ha ha, Nameless, you're only SOSO. You didn't think I would have this move. The Rain God saw that he had succeeded and wildly laughed. Have a taste of the martial god's strongest single-target skill, Deity 9 Heavy Spear Strike. The strongest single-target skill, this was the ceiling of the divine martial set's damage. Lu Chen was waiting for this attack. The Rain God quickly appeared in front of Nameless and quickly shot out 9 times. The martial god image also shot out 9 times at the same time, all of them focused on Lu Chen. Minus 13,771, Martial God's Blessing. Minus 14664, minus 13,813. There was a total of 9 waves of damage ranging from 13,000 to 15,000. The total damage had reached an astonishing 120,000. His colleague Nameless had a bleed debuff, losing 3,000 HP every second for 5 seconds. However, after such a shocking attack, the Rain God suddenly realized that the opponent's HP bar did not move. It did not move at all. Damn, what's this situation? There's 120,000 damage, and there's also a bleed effect. Look, Nameless HP is still full. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Nameless having a lot of HP. He has a full set of top-tier equipment. However, it's too much to deal damage without losing HP. Is he cheating? Nameless activated his shield. Look at the bottom of his HP bar. There's an additional notification of his shield's HP reserve. His shield can still withstand F*CK 570,000 damage. One of the players who saw it was shocked by his own discovery. After the enhancement, the effect of Soul Supremacy had been further enhanced. It took 90% of the HP of all controllable units under the player's name, forming a blood sacrifice shield that took 80% of the player's HP. He had 31 subordinates and 12 pet. Apart from Chaos, the other little guys had not grown up yet. They provided about 60,000 HP for the blood sacrifice shield. However, even if none of the subordinates had an average of 30,000 HP, they could still provide 630,000 HP. In total, Lu Chen's blood sacrifice shield could withstand about 700,000 damage. At the same time, Lu Chen quickly calculated in his mind. Originally, the blood sacrifice shield did not have any defense. It would deal as much damage as it did. If it hit Lu Chen, the damage would definitely not be that high. However, the Devil's Blade had the effect of Devil's Descent. The quality of the Divine Martial Spear should be lower than the Devil's Blade. The weapon's attack should be reduced by 50%. The weapon's attack reduction and defense resistance should be just enough to offset it. It seemed that the strongest single attack of the Divine Martial set could only deal about this much damage. Including the bleed effect, it could deal 130,000 HP. Well, let's be honest. The Divine Martial set is at least worth looking at. Looking at Rain God at this time, he was completely desperate. The strongest single attack of the Divine Martial set could not even break Nameless' shield. What kind of shield is this? Why is there so much HP? Rain God looked at Nameless as if he was looking at a monster. Nameless smiled slightly. You want to see my equipment? Won't you see it if it drops? Rain God was speechless for a long time. Nameless? Was that even possible? Nameless smiled slightly. By the way, you had fun killing my friends before, didn't you? When Nameless said this, Rain God already understood one thing. Nameless had played enough. He was going to be serious. You really think I don't have any clones? Sorry, your Einherjar is gone, but it's impossible for me not to have any clones. Your Einherjar is quite interesting. I'll use it. Steal. Einherjar. Clones. 6 Nameless, with 6 Einherjar phantoms standing behind him. At this time, Rain God and his Einherjar were already very weak. But at this time bad news came. Rain God's Einherjar disappeared. His skill's duration was over. Say goodbye to your Divine Martial set. Nameless smiled evilly. Kill. Earth-splitting chasm was raised, and Rain God was directly stunned. Beat him up. With a command, a group of doppelgangers attacked the Rain God transformation in an inhumane manner. Chapter 239. Rain God Ling Tian was a famous character, and was known as the #1 player in the 9 heavens. However, he was beaten black and blue by the 5 clones, and his face was covered in blood. Nameless walked up to Rain God and said, I told you that no one can touch the people I'm Nameless. Some people just don't learn their lesson. Nameless, how can you use Einherjar? Why are you so strong? You're only level 45, how can you be so strong? Nameless scratched his nose and said, Well, I don't think I'm that strong. Maybe you're just too weak. As for Einherjar, I don't need to explain it to you. Rain God Ling Tian suffered a double blow to his body and mind. Taking one last look at Rain God, Nameless sneered, Do you still remember what I said before? Your accounts are useless. 50 revivals, don't even think about missing one. After reaching a high level, being killed once would cost tens of millions of experience points. 50 revivals, these people's levels would drop to level 30. Also, tell Ling Long that if she plays the game well, I won't pursue what happened before. But if she doesn't know what's good for her, don't think that I won't kill women. Tens of thousands of alpacas ran through the Rain God's heart. Won't kill women? Brother, you killed Ling Long last time and made her drop a level. Who would think that you won't kill women? Lu Chen was also too lazy to talk nonsense with him, and directly killed him with a stick in the head. Ding. After Rain God died, he dropped a level 50 purple belt. Lu Chen silently put away the equipment. What followed next was the cruelest spawn camping in Jyotian history. 100% pain perception meant that these people would have to endure a certain amount of pain every time. 50 spawn camping, 600 people, and 30,000 deaths. Of course, Lu Chen left this to his doppelgangers. Nameless doppelgangers didn't have a cooldown anyway. Killing these low-health players was too easy. The first few times these guys were still unconvinced. Nameless, life is full of ups and downs. Don't look down on me because I'm poor. I, North Sky God, will pay you back tenfold. Ah, it hurts. Kill me 50 times if you have the guts. At most, I'll just level up again. I'm not afraid of you. Nameless, sooner or later, I will kill you. After guarding the corpse 5 or 6 times, the reaction of these people changed. F***ck you, why the F***ck do you always aim at the same place? You're too much. The equipment that I've painstakingly gathered, I'm a woman. Nameless. You don't know how to treat a woman well. After the 10th time, the entire place was filled with pleas. Big brother, don't kill him. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have. Nameless, let's talk. I'm serious. It's tiring to keep killing you, right? Don't come over. I was wrong. Nameless, listen to my explanation. I listened to the arrangements of the Rain God and the others. I don't have any personal conflicts with you. Don't. Nameless, take your doppelganger away. Don't you have a cooldown for your doppelganger? After the 20th time, there were already people crying. Sob, 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 my equipment is all gone. I've lost 4 levels. You're inhumane, sob, sob, sob. Nameless, you pervert, you old pervert. Cough, 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 sob, sob. Is no one going to take care of this pervert? It hurts, it really hurts. I surrender, please don't hit me anymore. Rain God, are you F***king crazy? Why did you agree to turn on the pain system? What expert? What max level player? Of course, their previous arrogance was gone. Now they were all crying like ghosts and howling like wolves. The Rain God's prestige was long gone. Everyone was cursing him. There were even a few impulsive people who rushed over to help the clone beat that guy up. If it was his decision, these max-level godly equipment players would not have ended up like this. Looking at this group of people, to be honest, Lu Chun felt pity for them. Master, why don't we let them go? Yeah, they're really pitiful. Look at them, they've just revived and they're too lazy to run. They just sit there and cry. They're all adults, but they're crying from being beaten. Ingjun shook his head. Sigh, how pitiful. Nameless shook his head helplessly. It's quite pitiful, but the bet has been signed. I have to kill enough. Sigh, it was my mistake back then. I set the kill count a little too high. In Little Ming's livestream, a group of people saw this scene and could not help but sigh. Alright, even Nameless feels pity for them. These max-level players are really pitiful. Look at the scene on the battlefield. They're all lining up to be beaten up. I think these max-level players will be traumatized after this. Max-level players? Look at their levels. They've already dropped to level 40. The strongest player is like a group of children being educated by their parents. Nameless is really ridiculously strong. Sigh, do you think Mad God or Nameless is stronger? When Nameless asked Mad God for help in the level 40 map battle, I thought Nameless might not be as strong as Mad God. But looking at it now, why do I feel like Nameless is stronger? Mad God or Nameless was the strongest. This had become the third biggest mystery of the Jyotian. Unfortunately, they were friends. Who knew if they would have the chance to see them PK once? The 50 rounds of brutal corporal punishment finally came to an end. When the beta testers finally revived, their levels had dropped to level 34 or 35. This level was about the same as many of the disciples. Moreover, all of their equipment had been dropped. Even some of the materials in their backpacks had been cleared out. Speaking of which, these beta testers had a lot of good stuff. Not only were there various high-level purple equipment, there were also 11 sets of divine martial sets, a large number of mana fragments, various types of pills, and a few high-level skills manuals. There was also a huge pile of equipment dropped by the 5 major guilds. Lu Chen kept 1 set of the 5 divine martial sets and gave the rest to Ling Nua. There were 9 sets of divine martial set. Each of the 4 guilds would get 2 sets. The rest would be distributed by Lung Nuo later. TT only had a few dozen people participating in the battle. It was a bit too much to give them a set of orange equipment, but they could still get a few pieces of divine martial set. The 5 major guilds had fought for him under such circumstances. Lu Chun deserved to share these items with them. Boss, these are too valuable. The guild leaders were so excited that they did not know what to do. Nameless smiled. These items, other than the divine martial sets, aren't as valuable as you said. Lu Chun was right. The situation now was different from when the server first opened. There were very few items that were of strategic value. These items were only of a higher level. When everyone's level increased, they would be able to obtain them themselves. Who would spend tens of thousands to buy items that they could obtain themselves? Moreover, you guys also participated in the battle. You should share the loot. If these items were given to Lu Chun, they would be sold for money. However, if these items were given to the players, they would be able to wear them in the future. Lu Chun had already earned 100 million and took the most expensive set of the 5 divine martial set. He did not need any other items. At this moment, Ning Shuang and Lu Yi hurried over. As soon as they saw each other, the 2 girls stood on either side of Lu Chun. Master, where's the guy in your stomach? Everyone suddenly remembered. Right, Nameless still had an unlucky guy in her stomach. Chapter 240. This unlucky child was still in Lu Chun's stomach. Master, how does it feel? Ning Shuang looked at her master with concern. Will he move in your stomach? Ling Nuo was also very concerned about her guild master. Guild master, how did you get him out? Are you going to spit him out or are you going to give birth to him? Little Ming quickly ran over. Boss, can you let me livestream the process? The people in the livestream are going crazy. They want to see you give birth. No, they want to see how you're going to get him out. Lu Chen's face was filled with despair. What were these people thinking? They wanted to livestream it? Did the fans have nothing to do? No, if you're so interested in this, there's actually a better way. Nameless looked at them with a faint smile. Ah? What way? Nameless stopped smiling and rolled his eyes at them. It's very simple. Let me swallow it and you'll know. Come. Whoever is the most interested, I'll give you a free 24-hour livestream. When the group heard this, they were so scared that they did not dare to look at Lu Chun. Ning Shuang, Master, I suddenly remembered that I still need to level up. Ning Shuang quickly ran away. Lu Yi's face instantly turned pale. Boss, my stomach hurts. I'll go offline to use the toilet. Lung Nuo. Right, there's still a lot of equipment to distribute. I suddenly remembered that there's still a lot of things to do. Boss, excuse me. Lu Chun glanced at Little Ming. When Little Ming saw that the situation was not right, he quickly pretended to interact with the fans. Let's take a look at the battlefield again. Look, all the max level players have been killed to level 35. TSK. Nameless is really amazing. In an instant, the people around Nameless all slipped away. Lu Chun shook his head. These guys, it's impossible not to scare them. The dispute with the top players had finally come to an end. These 600 players weren't all max-level Jyotian players, but Lu Chun believed that the other max-level players and beta testers wouldn't be so stupid as to provoke him again. Thinking up to this point, Lu Chun took a deep breath. Finally, it's quiet. I can also focus on leveling up. Without the citywide lockdown, Lu Chun used stealth and directly flew out of Firmament City. On top of Firmament City gate stood a few people, all of them hiding their IDs. When Nameless single-handedly killed 600 max-level players, everyone around was shocked by Nameless' strength. However, these few people just quietly watched the battle. Only when the duel was over did they leave quietly. From the moment Rain God Ling Tian died in battle, the sealing order of High Firmament City had already lost its effect. The few of them quietly left High Firmament City. Juicy, what do you think? A middle-aged man asked. It turned out that these 4 people were the 4 mysterious people who helped the max-level players defeat the first and second bosses of the Tong Tian Tower. Juicy, Sengoku, Shuangshi, Dongli. If he's willing to join our team, perhaps we'll have a chance to defeat the Heaven Domain boss. Juicy slightly narrowed his eyes. Where did he get that equipment? Why does it feel like it's even stronger than the Divine Martial set? It really completely destroys the Divine Martial set. Those equipment effects are too strong. The transformation is even more terrifying than the War God's possession. There's also the doppelganger. I've looked at it and those doppelgangers are very strong. They inherit at least 80% of the original body's damage and take around 150% of the damage. Moreover, there's no cooldown period. This doppelganger is truly strong. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees the clearest. These 4 experts were watching from the side, so naturally they could calculate the doppelganger's strength. That's right, don't you think that Nameless might be the same as us? Did he come from the outside? Juicy asked, otherwise, how could he be this strong? It shouldn't be possible. We spent a lot of effort to get here. No matter how strong he is, he can't break the world barrier alone. That's right, the world barrier needs 4 people to break. He can't do it alone. Juicy thought about it. That's right. No matter how strong Nameless is, he must be an Earthling. Juicy, are you saying that you want to invite him to join us? Invite? Do you think he has enough face for me to invite him personally? Besides, he can't really become one of us. It can only be considered as giving him a chance to work for us. Juicy slightly narrowed his eyes. This kind of person is arrogant. If we want to make him submit, we have to make him understand his position. Now, I only need one more piece of equipment to complete that set. When that time comes, even Nameless will have to submit to me. John Doe had fulfilled his promise. From now on, these so-called top players in the closed beta were useless. Their levels had been raised to 35, their equipment had been exposed, and even their backpacks had been emptied. They were even weaker than half of the level 35 players. This kind of deterrence had already spread to the closed beta circle. Exquisite Zishin had watched the entire live broadcast. She was now in despair. Even her big brothers had been raised to 35. Find Nameless for revenge? That was already an impossible matter. Just thinking about Nameless' methods made her break out in cold sweat. Master, will we never have a chance to take revenge? Royal Crown Prince looked at Exquisite pitifully. Exquisite shook her head. Revenge? You think I don't want to? But you're not blind. Is there anyone in the whole of Jiutian who can touch that guy? Killing 600 max level players is like child's play. He obviously hasn't done his best. How can we take revenge? Royal Crown Prince sighed. He was not blind. There seemed to be only one path in front of them now, and that was to accept reality. That person and that person's friends were not people they could touch. Lu Chen had just gone offline when he found Li Muhua playing on the computer next to him. This guy had not left until now. Hey, you hid the video so well? Li Muhua saw that Lu Chen had gone offline, but did not take it to heart. He continued watching the video. Tisk, TSK, TSK. Europe, America, Japan, Korea, China. The categories are quite comprehensive. Lu Chen was speechless. Who told you to play on my computer? Big brother, I was waiting for you. Li Muhua reluctantly turned off the computer. Send me a copy of these resources later. Lu Chen was speechless again. Alright, Lu Chen, I've investigated the situation over there. It's confirmed that it was Tianxing and the others who did it. After getting back to the main topic, Li Muhua still seemed like a good person. They cut off the network of this gaming cabin. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. If he did not have the gaming helmet at that time, he would not have been able to go online. Nameless would be laughed at by everyone then. Lu Chen, we plan to buy 2 gaming cabins under the military's name and encrypt the network and IP. You and Lu Yi will each have one. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Are you sure there's no problem? Li Muhua snorted. Our leader has already warned them. If such a problem occurs again, there's no need for Tianqing Games to exist anymore. Jiutian will be officially taken over. Don't worry about that. Our technicians will follow up and… Li Muhua quietly leaned over to Lu Chen's ear and whispered, Actually, we've already arranged for people to enter Tianqing Games. Our people seem to have discovered something unusual. It's still what I told you at the beginning. Empyrean is not a simple game. Chapter 241. After what was called the scariest battle in Jiutian history, Lu Chen's net worth had skyrocketed to 200 million. Lu Chen did not expect that in just 2 months of playing the game, he would go from being unable to pay his rent to being a billionaire. Lu Chen was only 4 levels away from the first level, and there was not much to do when he went online. He took some time to bring Lu Yi to buy some things. Brother, I really don't need to buy anything. Although I'm not as pretty as your disciple, I'm so delicate. I don't need to buy cosmetics. Lu Chen smiled. Who said you're not as pretty as Ning Shuang? My sister is the prettiest. Girls always said one thing and meant another. Unfortunately, Lu Chen had watched Lu Yi grow up and knew what she was thinking. Hee, my brother has the best taste. Lu Yi hugged Lu Chen's arm and leaned on Lu Chen's shoulder. Look at you. You're so full of yourself after a few words of praise. Walk properly. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. His sister had grown up, but their relationship had never drifted apart. Oh right, brother, do you like Ning Shuang? I interacted with her yesterday. Although she has a bit of a Missy's temper, she's a nice person. She's also really pretty. Lu Chen shook his head. I'm her master. So what if you're a master? There are so many master-disciple relationships. Besides, it's only in the game. If she's willing to spend 8,000 to hire you as her master, I'm sure she likes you. I can feel it. Oh right, brother and sister Nuanuo. She cares about you a lot too. What nonsense are you talking about? Why are you guys liking each other now? Lu Yi said indignantly. I'm telling the truth. You don't understand. I think you should officially announce a girlfriend. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Lu Chen shook his head. His original goal in coming to Jiutian was to earn money. Now, it seemed that he had achieved that goal. He could now enjoy the game. It was just that he had encountered so many mysteries in the Jiutian, including Tianqing. This made him want to explore the Jiutian even more. As for dating, he really did not have the time. Come on, girls are always so gossipy. By the way, I plan to buy you a lady's watch and a few bags. I don't know much about luxury goods, so you can see which one you like. To be honest, Lu Chen really didn't understand fashion. Why did girls like those strange bags? Wasn't it cumbersome to carry a bag all day long? Perhaps this was the typical thought of a straight man. However, Lu Chen wasn't a primitive person. He knew that a girl should have a few good bags. Louis used to carry a sports bag all day and was laughed at by many people. She strolled around the luxury stores and looked at Chanel, LV, Gucci, and Dior. Wrap these up for me. The salesperson's eyes widened as he looked at the young man. This guy was wearing a baseball cap, and the brim of the cap was very low, so his face could not be seen clearly. However, the clothes he was wearing were very cheap, and he did not wear any expensive watches. In one go, he bought a designer bag that was worth millions. The total price of these 5 bags was over 2 million. After Lu Chen and the others left, the salespeople gathered together and whispered, "Oh my God, luckily my attitude was good just now. I didn't expect that guy to be so rich. He spent over 2 million without batting an eye. Is that his mistress? She's so lucky to find such a young and rich man." Lu Yi looked at her brother. Brother, why did you buy so many for me? It's too expensive. Silly, I didn't have the ability in the past, and could only bring you through a hard life. Now that I'm earning money, buying these for you is nothing. Lu Yi secretly looked at her brother's side profile. Her eyes were a little wet. Just now in the store, her brother really didn't know anything. The salespeople even thought that he was a country bumpkin and dressed shabbily. However, her brother didn't feel bad about spending money on her. The key was not how much money he spent, but Lu Yi knew that her brother still doted on her. Although her parents were no longer around, she never felt that she was unlucky. With her brother around, she was the happiest. Hey, go get a card when you're free. Lu Chen suddenly said, in the future, I'll give you pocket money every month. It won't be too much. Although we're rich, I don't want you to become too materialistic. How about 3,000 a month? I'll take care of the expenses at home. You can buy whatever you want. If you want to buy anything expensive, let me know. Brother, just give me 1,000. That's true. If I give you too much, you'll buy random snacks. You're already so fat. Lu Chen fell into deep thought. Hey, do you have to agree so easily? Also, if you say that I'm fat again, I'll fight it out with you. The siblings had just been together for less than 2 minutes, and they started to quarrel again. The next day, Li Muhua sent the new gaming cabins over. Lu Chen, you and Lu Yi can use these 2 gaming cabins without worry, Li Muhua said. Also, we've sent more people over there. Let us know if there's anything. Okay, thanks. If there's any progress on Tianxing's side, I'll contact you. Okay. After logging into the game with the new gaming cabin, Lu Chen asked Ning Shuang to level up. However, the girl said that she wanted to level up on her own. In the game, Hua Luo looked at Ning Shuang strangely. You don't want Nameless to carry you? Ning Shuang lowered her head, seemingly unhappy. I'll finish my apprenticeship in 2 levels. I don't know if Master will still be willing to carry me then. Hua Luo thought about it and understood Ning Shuang's thoughts. She didn't want to finish her apprenticeship so soon. Hey, Ning Shuang, in the entire Jiutian, you're probably the only one who doesn't want to level up. Speaking of which, don't tell me you've really fallen in love with Boss? Ning Shuang smiled. How should I put it? I haven't fallen in love with Nameless to that extent. I should say, I admire him. After being in close contact with him, I realized that he's even more charming than when I watched the video. Ivy never admired a boy so much before. Hua Luo nodded in agreement. Indeed, I've interacted with Boss a few times. He's really charming. He's wild and ruthless to his enemies, but he's never arrogant to his own people. Moreover, Boss isn't ugly either. This kind of man is really charming. Ning Shuang looked at Hua Luo in surprise. Hua Luo realized that she had let it slip and quickly said, Hey, don't look at me like that. I have a boyfriend. I am just admiring Boss, and I feel a little regretful that I didn't meet him sooner. The 2 girls suddenly laughed in tacit understanding. Lu Chen naturally didn't know what the 2 girls were talking about. Lu Chen wandered around the level 40 map, looking for a few known dungeons. From the equipment of max-level players, no matter how good the dungeon's drops were, it wouldn't be better than the Divine Martial set. Therefore, Lu Chen wasn't interested in the equipment drop. He only had one goal in these dungeons, and that was to see if there were any hidden bosses. At the same time, he stepped on the map to see if there were any fishes that had slipped through the net. Unfortunately, after a busy day, he did find a few hidden bosses. However, their equipment disappointed Lu Chen. They were only slightly better purple equipment. At 10 p.m., Lu Chen sat on the Golden Retriever's shoulder and wandered around the yellow sand world. Looking at the night scenery in the desert was a different experience. The Jiutian at night was also very beautiful. When looking up at the sky, one could see that the sky was filled with stars. Lu Chen rarely saw such a scene, so he stopped to admire the starry sky. I have 2 of the 4 mythical beasts and 2 of the 4 ferocious beasts. In addition, I still have 2 hidden dungeons to clear. I don't know if I can find them. Looking and looking, Lu Chen suddenly felt that something was wrong. In an unknown place in the sky, he felt that the density of the air was a little strange, causing it to look a little hazy. What's that? Chapter 242. Lu Chen was shocked. Could it be a dungeon? If it was true, that Tianxing's planner should be pulled out and shot for 10 minutes. Who would have thought of this? It was easy to prove this point. Lu Chen immediately put away the golden retriever, opened his wings, and flew to the sky. It looked close, but one could only know how far it was after flying. Lu Chen almost exhausted his 40,000+ pure aura to fly up. When he lowered his head, he could almost see the entire Jiutian Road. The Novice area, the Immortal Mountain area, the Lingshao City area, and the level 40 and above area were all in sight. It was just that they all became very small and nothing could be seen clearly. Did I fly 40,000 meters? Lu Chen shuddered and hurriedly swallowed a spirit-gathering pill to replenish his spiritual energy. Now there was a vague air wall with a wide range in front of him. I hope it's a dungeon. Lu Chen touched the air wall with his hand. You are about to enter the hidden dungeon, 5 Elements Forbidden Land. Not one of the 3 hidden dungeons. Damn it, what a loss. Lu Chen complained, but then he thought, the Forbidden Land of Divine Pets, could it be a drop of divine pets? Enter the dungeon. Lu Chen had just entered the dungeon through the air wall and was stunned by the scene in front of him. In front of him were 5 mountains suspended in the air, each of which was huge. It was night time, and each mountain was covered in ink with dense vegetation. Occasionally, he could see flying units flying between the mountains. The 5 mountains in the air were arranged in a 5-star arrangement. From each mountain peak, a huge chain extended. The chain gathered in the center and wrapped around a huge coffin. The 5 Elements Forbidden Land is divided into 5 forbidden areas of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Each forbidden area imprisons an orange mount, and the most powerful battle pet is imprisoned in the center of the 5 Elements Forbidden Land. The dungeon time is 1 hour. If you exceed the time limit or die halfway, you will be forced to exit the dungeon. After exiting the dungeon, the player will not be able to enter again. Click to confirm. The dungeon will start countdown. Lu Chen suddenly became nervous. The dungeon's description was very clear. Every mountain had an orange mount, and in the middle of it was the strongest war pet. What was the most powerful battle pet? Needless to say, it was definitely one of the 8 divine pets. This instant's dungeon was very straightforward. It didn't even bother with the hidden boss and placed the big boss right in the middle. However, if each mountain was a map, then it would take a lot of time to clear all 5 maps. Plus, if we were to fight the boss in the middle, 1 hour would be too little. For normal players, even if they were in a team, they might not even be able to finish 1 map in an hour, not to mention 5 maps with a sealed, strongest pet in the middle. However, if they missed this opportunity, they would never have another chance to enter this dungeon again. Motherf **Ker, what kind of mythological beast is sealed here? It's so hard to deal with. It's even harder than the previous ones. Lu Chen was not in a hurry to start the countdown. He wanted to make sure that he could clear the dungeon in one go and defeat the final boss. He even regretted that he had entered too early. If he was a little stronger, his chances of success would have been higher. It was a pity that there was no prompt before entering the dungeon. Since he had entered, Lu Chen had no choice but to clear the dungeon in one go. Otherwise, the Divine Blood Demonic Seed mission would completely fail. Damn it, why am I looking up at the stars? Lu Chen said regretfully. Now, I can only rely on the help of my avatars. Lu Chen frowned. This was probably the most nervous he had ever been since he entered Jiutian. I have to use the strongest avatar to have hope. After careful consideration, Lu Chen opened his backpack and put on the strong 5 gods martial set. Einherjar. Lu Chun immediately changed his equipment after activating the skill. Transform. In the face of such a serious and unknown challenge, Lu Chun had to give it his all. Avatar. Wishful Staff Avatar. There were a total of 6 avatars. Confirm to start the dungeon. Lu Chun quickly confirmed. At the same time, he pulled the 6 avatars into groups of 2 and rushed to the 3 nearest peak. The avatar lasted for 600 seconds. He did not know if these avatars could finish in 10 minutes. Lu Chun did not have time to think too much and rushed to the fire peak that was farther away. Speed, speed. I must catch up. After entering the fire peak, Lu Chun found that the wild monsters here were all level 50 elite beasts. When these monsters saw an intruder, they rushed to Lu Chun. Haha, the aggro range of these wild monsters is very large. This is easy. The avatars can run directly to the top of the mountain. Lu Chun also used the same tactic and ran all the way to the top of the mountain. More and more beasts gathered behind him. There were hundreds of beasts of various colors. Lu Chun did not care about them and just rushed to the top of the mountain. A few minutes later, Lu Chun reached the top of the mountain. In the open space at the top of the mountain there was a huge creature. When he saw this guy, Lu Chun could not help but gasp. This was a dragon. However, it was not a Huaxia dragon, but a western fire dragon with wings. The fire dragon was crimson red and about 35 meters tall. It was like looking up at a building. At this moment, its greenish-black eyes were staring at Lu Chun with hostility. This was an orange mount. Lu Chun was both excited and nervous. Right now, time was life. Lu Chun did not care about probing and directly rushed over with quick movement. Earth-splitting chasm. With a bang, the big club smashed into the giant dragon's body. Roar! The giant dragon let out a roar, but its body was still stunned. The stun only lasted for 1.5 seconds. Lu Chun turned behind the giant dragon. At this moment, the wild beasts that were chasing him had also caught up. Tiger descends the mountain. 18 consecutive hits, a total of 350,000 plus damage. At the same time, it was a split attack. A large number of the small monsters were killed. Killed two-headed white-maned wolf, level 50 super elite. Captured 3,000 spiritual energy. Obtained level 6 talent fragment 2. Obtained 6 star quality point 2. Extracted pure spiritual energy 1. Ding. Obtained two-headed white-maned wolf fragment, mount X1. Obtained mount equipment slot fragment X1. Killed copper pangolin, level 50 super elite. Captured 2,200 spiritual energy. Obtained level 6 talent fragment 1. Obtained 6 star quality point 1. Extracted pure spiritual energy 1. Obtained mount equipment slot fragment X1. Lu Chun's system was flooded with these kill notifications. The super elite dropped level 6 materials, but there were more and less. They also dropped pet fragments and mount equipment fragments. These 2 items should be used to synthesize insect nuclei and mount equipment. Lu Chun did not know how to synthesize them, but he did not have time to look. The small monsters have 300,000 HP. Lu Chun was also shocked by the strength of these super elite monsters. Now, he had to make a new conclusion. Even if it was a max-level player, unless they had a highly enhanced divine might or devil set, it would be impossible to clear a map in an hour. This is not a dungeon that can be cleared at this stage. Of course, that was for normal players. For Lu Chun, the difficulty was not too high. His biggest enemy was time. Just now, with 1 hit, the fire dragon lost 1/10 of its HP. Its total HP was 4 million. I don't know how the clone is doing. Let's not worry about it first. Let's kill this one first. Chapter 243. Flame Slash. Lu Chun attacked from left and right, crazily attacking. Right now, He did not even think about dodging and only used the blood sacrifice shield. The giant dragon's damage was very high. Its magic attack was a fire attack. It had burst damage and continuous damage. Damn, it's quite strong. As expected of an orange mount. Now that I think about it, does it still have any attack power after becoming a mount? This time, Lu Chen was truly a steel giant dragon. Relying on the high defense of the blood sacrifice shield, Lu Chen was not in any danger. 10 minutes. Doppelganger. Lu Chen once again created a doppelganger. However, the doppelganger was not used to fight the giant dragon. He let the doppelganger continue to attack the 3-5 element mountains. Luckily, Lu Chen's burst damage was enough. He finished killing the orange legendary pet in 15 minutes. Killed flaming giant dragon, level 50 legendary pet boss. Obtained 800,000 aura. Obtained 5 rank 8 talent fragment. Obtained 5 evolution points. Ding, obtained flaming giant dragon, orange mount, male. *1. Obtained mount equipment dragon saddle, orange. Yay, the first orange mount is in my hands. Awesome. Lu Chen did not have time to check the dragon saddle stats as he hastily ran towards the gold peak. One fire peak took around 20 minutes. Lu Chen's time was too tight. The gold peak situation was similar to the fire peak. Lu Chen directly pulled all the monsters to the peak. He used Fierce Tiger Descend and was splitting harvest. On top of the mountain, there was a huge rhinoceros. Of course, since it could become an orange mount, it was clearly not a real rhinoceros. This guy's body was not smaller than the flaming giant dragon. Its body was sturdy and there were horns on its head. On top of its head were 3 words, Sky-Splitting Roar, SI. Damn, one of the 10 great beasts of the wilderness, Sky-Splitting Roar. Lu Chen opened his eyes wide. This guy's strength was quite strong. Just from the name alone, it could split the sky. If it's of the metal attribute, its defense is higher. However, I have defense reduction, so I'm not that scared. Lu Chen directly faced off against the heaven-rending Ho. This monster's damage was lower than the dragon's, but it had a charge skill that could stun Lu Chen. To Lu Chen, who was already pressed for time, this wasn't good news. Motherf *Ker, can you stop making me dizzy? I'm in a hurry. 10 minutes later, Lu Chen sent out the third wave of doppelgangers to the 3 mountains. After 18 minutes, the Sky Splitter Centipede still had half of its HP left. Lu Chen was burning with impatience. At this moment, Lu Chen's system received several messages one after another. Killed Sea Cracking Mysterious Dragon Whale, level 50 Divine Pet Boss. Obtained 800,000 spiritual energy. Obtained 5 rank 8 talent fragment. Obtained 5 evolution points from 8 stars. Ding. Obtained Sea Cracking Mysterious Dragon Whale, orange mount, female, *1. Obtained mount equipment Dragon Scale, orange. Killed Rotten Bone Kuan King, level 50 Divine Pet Boss. Obtained 800,000 spiritual energy. Obtained 5 rank 8 talent fragment. Obtained 5 evolution points from 8 stars. Ding. Obtained Rotten Bone Kuan King, orange mount, asexual, *1. Obtained mount equipment Dragon Claw, orange. Killed Leviathan, level 50 Divine Pet Boss. Obtained 800,000 spiritual energy. Obtained 5 rank 8 talent fragment. Obtained 5 evolution points from 8 stars. Ding. Obtained Leviathan, orange mount, asexual, *1. Obtained mount equipment Dragon Armor, orange. Damn, the doppelgangers are already done. Lu Chen was overjoyed. He now had 4 orange mount. Even the Leviathan came out. That's one of the 3 vicious beasts in Western mythology. Although Lu Chen wasn't an expert, there weren't many famous beasts in the West. The giant bird Caesar, the behemoth, and the Leviathan were quite famous. They represented the 3 kings of the sky, land, and sea. Their strength was about the same. Naturally, there were many legends. To say that the giant flaming dragon was inferior to the giant bird Caesar was not accurate. Since it was set as an orange mount, it meant that their strength should be about the same. Currently, Lu Chen had 4 mounts. The giant flaming dragon and the Leviathan were in the west, while the mysterious dragon whale and the Kuan King were in the east. Only the sky-splitting Ho was left. Since the doppelgangers were already done, Lu Chen did not hesitate. He waited for the doppelgangers to cool down and immediately summoned them to attack the sky-splitting Ho. A few minutes later, the sky-splitting Ho was obtained by Lu Chen. He also obtained the orange mount equipment, dragon armor. Now that the mount was done, Lu Chen did not have time to celebrate. He immediately rushed towards the giant sarcophagus at the center of 5-element mountain. 16 minutes left. Quick movement. It was a race against time. Before entering the battle, Lu Chen immediately used quick movement to speed up. At the same time, the 5 giant chains at the top of 5-element mountain cracked at the same time. The thing sealed here finally had an attribute. The giant sarcophagus gradually opened. Before he could see what kind of mythical beast it was, he heard an angry roar. A tremor could be felt throughout the entire instance dungeon. Lu Chen ran towards the sarcophagus. At the same time, he was shocked. What the F***ck is this? It has such a bad temper. Big brother, come out quickly. Please don't do some cutscene animation. I can't wait. The journey from Golden Mountain was not short. It took a few more minutes. Lu Chen had less than 7 minutes left. Fortunately, Heavenly Entertainment's planner had some conscience and did not do any cutscene animation. Before Lu Chen arrived, a black shadow came out of the sarcophagus and pounced towards Lu Chen. Lu Chen did not expect this guy to move so quickly. In addition, he was burning with anxiety and sprinting with all his might. The two of them were moving towards each other. There was no time for him to react. The moment they met, Lu Chen received a huge amount of damage. 55884 shield negation, 55889 shield negation, 36494 shield negation, 13221, 35221, 34,788. This attack directly destroyed the rest of Lu Chen's blood sacrifice shield and caused more than 80,000 damage. At this time, Lu Chen finally got a clear look at the other party's appearance. It was a huge tiger. It looked very similar to the Aurora White Tiger. However, it was completely black. Its eyes were golden, and its body was also covered in golden stripes. Its entire body was emitting a black aura. F***ck, it's the sky-devouring demonic tiger. Lu Chen immediately recognized this guy. The level of the demonic tiger's soul remnant seems to be higher than the Aurora White Tiger on the Heavenly Mountain. It actually has a 5-hit combo. Its damage is also higher. Lu Chen checked his status. He was currently within the range of the demonic tiger's black aura. His defense was directly reduced by 50%. F***ck, there's even a defense debuff. No wonder it hurts so much. Whatever, there's no time. God of War Possession. Transform. Clone. This time, the God of War Possession did not come from the special effect of the Divine Martial set. Instead, Lu Chen used Steel to steal this skill. Now, he used all of his strongest skills and summoned 6 of his strongest clones. The 6 demons, with the golden-armored Einherjar behind them, rushed towards the demonic tiger at the same time. Earth-shattering chasm. F***ck, 10 million HP. There's less than 7 minutes left. Full damage, full damage. Army, come out. Lionhead, come out. I'll control it. Full damage. Lu Chen was almost roaring. Now was the time to stake everything. Lu Chen did not care so much anymore. As long as they could fight, they would all come out. Chapter 244. Although the 10 tigers were much stronger than normal monsters, they were still nothing in front of such a super boss. To ensure their safety, Lu Chun had to hold their aggro and control them perfectly. Monkey King's reverse blood. Lu Chun stunned the heaven-devouring demonic tiger. At the same time, he gave up on healing and attacked with all his might. 10 million HP was no joke. Even if Lu Chun could deal hundreds of thousands of damage with each attack, it would still take a while. Fortunately, he had a group of subordinates to help him. 5 seconds of stun. Lu Chun attacked with all his might. Tiger descends the mountain, blazing Z/taunt. This skill was definitely a godly skill. It lasted for 30 seconds and the boss could only attack him. The others attacked with all their might. 9 million HP, 8 million HP, 7 million HP. However, 30 seconds was not enough. When the boss's HP reached 6,800,000, it was about to wake up again. Demon King's Will. This skill could refresh skills with a cooldown of less than 10 minutes. It was definitely one of Lu Chun's trump cards. However, he did not dare to hold back and used it immediately. Earth-splitting Gully, Monkey King's reverse blood, taunt 3, 800,000 HP, and there were still 5 minutes left. Lu Chun had used up all his skills and had to wait for the next cooldown. At this time, the heaven-devouring demonic tiger was about to wake up again. Damn it, my aggro should be full. I hope it doesn't have any AoE skills. However, the heaven-devouring demonic tiger did not have any AoE skills? That was obviously impossible. With a roar, the heaven-devouring demonic tiger swung its tail. A sword-like thing swept behind it in a 180-degree radius. There, the 3 fools and the 10 tigers were all attacking. There was a saying that one should not touch a tiger's tail. The damage of this tiger tail whip was definitely not to be underestimated. It was very likely that it could instantly kill an army member. At this critical moment, Lu Chun instantly teleported everyone back to the territory. I've dealt a lot of damage. The remaining 4 minutes should be enough. Although that was the case, the problem now was that Lu Chun did not have any control skills or powerful damage skills. He could only rely on normal attacks. Lu Chun led his 6 doppelgangers to attack crazily. 3 million HP, 2,500,000, 2 million, 1,800,000 HP. There were only 3 minutes left. Lu Chun's nerves were stretched to the limit. In the last 3 minutes, success or failure depended on this one move. At this moment, the demonic tiger turned around and lashed out. Lu Chun clearly saw the attack, but he couldn't dodge it. Together with his 3 doppelgangers, he took the whip head-on. -110,000, Motherf * Cur, the damage is really high. Not only was the damage high, but it also inflicted a paralysis effect. Lu Chun had no choice but to stop attacking and wait for the 1 second of paralysis to wear off. Although Lu Chun was possessed by the war god and could transform, after being beaten by the devil tiger for so long, Lu Chun was already at his limit. One had to know that the demonic tiger's talent was a 5-hit combo. Even if it wasn't a critical hit, it was already very terrifying. Previously, Lu Chun hadn't felt the effects of taunt. Now that he no longer had taunts buffs and health regeneration buffs, Lu Chun's health dropped rapidly. Xiao Min, turn invisible. After Lu Chun turned invisible, the ferocious tiger immediately changed its target and attacked another doppelganger. Not long after, this doppelganger couldn't hold on any longer and turned into nothingness. Following that, one doppelganger after another was killed. The devil tiger's health was 800,000. There were only 1 minute and 11 seconds left. F***CK. Lu Chun's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. I don't care anymore, I'll go all out. Raging flame Z/. Ferocious tiger descends the mountain. Lu Chun's health was 110,000. While the devil tiger's health was 170,000 at this moment, it was really the time to fight to the death. The following attacks from both of them could instantly kill each other. Both of them launched their final attacks at the same time. In the blink of an eye, Lu Chen saw that the opponent's claw was about to swipe at him and finally came to a realization. This guy had 10 million health. How could its basic stats be lower than his? If both of them attacked at the same time, he would definitely die first. Quick movement. Lu Chen dashed to the right of the devil tiger. In the blink of an eye, he had temporarily lengthened the attack range of the demonic tiger, causing it to take just a little longer to attack him. However, it was this little bit of time that was the key to victory. Lu Chen moved at high speed and hit the devil tiger with his staff. 200,000 plus damage. Killed sky-devouring devil tiger's soul remnant, sealed divine beast boss. Captured 5 million heaven and earth spiritual energy. Obtained 5 rank 9 talent fragment. Obtained 5 9-star quality points. Ding. Obtained item, sky-devouring devil tiger summoning stone, optional. Obtained rank 4 soul source core X1. Obtained soul source fragments X80. Obtained grade 1 spirit gathering pills X20. Obtained treasure black coffin, purple. Before Lu Chen could catch his breath, not long after, he was sent out of the dungeon. Lu Chen was really too tired. He hadn't experienced that kind of intense battle in a long time. To be precise, even in the past, he had never experienced such an intense battle. He didn't have any time to fight back. He had to fight hard and use almost all of his treasures. In fact, Lu Chen still had a resurrection skill. However, only God knew how long it would take to resurrect. If it took more than 10 seconds, it would be meaningless whether he resurrected or not. In such an intense battle, not only did Lu Chen have to maximize his damage output, but he also had to control his doppelgangers and army. One could imagine how terrifying that 1 hour was. As a result, when he came out of the dungeon, Lu Chen could only let his body enter a state of free fall. At 40,000 meters, he could at least fall for a while. Quietly looking at the starry sky above his head, Lu Chen had mixed feelings. Who would have thought that there was a dungeon hidden in the sky? Taking a step back, if he didn't kill the Bloodseeker and break his wings, even if he saw it, he probably wouldn't have been able to reach it in such a short time. Fortunately, this time, the 5 elements pet forbidden area was more daunting than dangerous. Not only did he get all 5 orange mounts, but most importantly, he took down the sky-devouring demonic tiger. Ah! I almost died of exhaustion. My damn mission is really not something a human can do. Lu Chen sighed from the bottom of his heart. But then again, as Lu Chen completed more and more tasks, he was getting closer and closer to completing the Divine Blood Demonic Seed mission. He even occasionally thought about it. What would be the final reward for such a terrifying mission? After resting for a while, Lu Chen opened his wings, turned around, and switched to flight mode. After flying for a while, Lu Chen suddenly realized that he was really stupid. Wasn't he tired of flying? Didn't he have a mount? Summon Flaming Dragon. Beside Lu Chen, a huge red dragon suddenly appeared. This guy looked 35 meters tall at first. Now that it opened its wings, it was probably 100 meters wide. Lu Chen jumped onto the back of the fire dragon. Wow, it's really spacious up here. Open the mount panel. Looking at the attributes of the fire dragon, Lu Chen was a little puzzled. How does this guy have attack power? Golden Retriever didn't have these stats before? And its attack power isn't low. With its magic attack, it's more than 20,000. Not only did the fire dragon have 3 dimensions, but it also had spiritual power, attack power, and equipment slots, but they were all locked now. Right, there's a mount equipment fragment. Lu Chen immediately used the fragment to open a dragon claw slot and equipped the dragon claw. Damn, there's a skill? Flame Breath causes a total of 100,000 damage in 2 parts to enemies in a large area and triggers the Ignite effect, causing 5,000 damage per second for 10 seconds. Lu Chen thought for a while and flew the fire dragon over Fiend City. Flame Breath. With a command, the fire dragon spewed flames toward the ground. The crimson macaques on the ground, and even the players who were leveling up here, only saw a red shadow and were instantly killed. Chapter 245. Oh my God, what is that? In the distance, people looked at the red dragon flying across the sky in horror. Not good. The entire Bloodlust Castle has become a sea of fire. Who knows how many monsters and players have died? It's too scary. Are monsters attacking the city too? All the streamers rushed to District 13's Bloodlust Castle. On the screen, it had become a sea of fire. There were bodies everywhere. It was hard to count. Oh my God, what happened here? It's too scary. Look at the sky, what is that? Everyone hurriedly looked at the sky. At that moment, a winged red dragon was circling in the sky. It's a fire dragon. Where did this boss come from? Is that a mount? How could it be a mount? Have you seen a mount attack? It seems to be heading towards Firmament City. Could it be a massacre? Everyone, return to the city and inform the players to prepare for defense. This news quickly spread among the players. Many players did not even hesitate to change regions and specially came to watch the legendary Fire Dragon massacre the city. Lu Chen did not plan to massacre the city. In fact, he did not plan to kill so many players. He mainly wanted to test out his skills. Who knew that this guy's attacks would be so fierce? The flames it spat out were like a flamethrower. After a long period of continuous spraying, the entire area was set ablaze. Damn, I was just testing out my skills. Lu Chen shook his head. It seemed that he had gone too far this time. However, after this experiment, Lu Chen realized that the orange mount was indeed awesome. Not only did it have attributes, but it also had attacks. It was actually so strong. If I were to bring the red dragon to level up, this speed would be too exaggerated. Lu Chen thought about it and then shook his head. The red dragon's attributes were related to its owner. If his attributes were not strong, the red dragon's attacks would not be so strong. After returning to Firmament City, Lu Chen realized that there were thousands of players standing on the city gate. They were all looking at him, or more accurately, they were looking at the red dragon. After all, he was sitting on the red dragon's back. The others could not see him from below. Everyone look, that guy is here. Prepare to attack. Many players below released skills in an attempt to attack the red dragon. However, the red dragon's flying height was very high. Even the archers with the longest range could not reach it. Lu Chen shook his head, put away the red dragon, and spread his wings to descend. When everyone saw this scene, they all stopped attacking. Is that person Nameless? Where did the red dragon go? Did Nameless put away the red dragon? Is it Nameless, Battle Pet? Lu Chen landed on the city wall, looked at the players, and said in a loud voice, "Everyone, please don't get too worked up. That's my mount. I was just testing out a skill. I'm very sorry for any accidental injuries. Who cared about accidental injuries now?" Nameless had just finished speaking when a commotion broke out around them. Impossible. Is that a mount? I've never heard of a mount that can attack. Brother Nameless, is that really your mount? In the entire Jiotian server, including the foreign servers, there is absolutely no mount that can attack. Actually, the purple mounts that the closed beta players had were given to them by the officials. Currently, the only confirmed mount that can drop is the Crimson Giant Ape that Nameless obtained. Nameless, how did you obtain these mounts? In the face of the crazy questions from the players, Lu Chen raised his hand, indicating for everyone to quiet down. I can't tell the exact location of the dungeon. I can only say that it's in the sky. After the dungeon, I can't find it. The group of people almost fainted. Damn, it's in the sky. Does that mean that only people with flying mounts or wings can enter? Nameless is really one step ahead. I think even people with flying mounts can't enter. Look at all the closed beta players, I don't see anyone with a mount like that. Nameless, what's the grade of your mount? Lu Chen did not have any ill intentions towards these normal players. He smiled and said, "It's an orange mount. Also, pay attention everyone. I'll be selling a batch of mounts tomorrow. Those who are interested can participate in the Wild Waves Guild auction." In addition to the 5 orange mounts, Lu Chen also obtained a lot of green, blue, and even purple mount fragments. These things were definitely not cheap. It was necessary to hold a special auction. After announcing this news, Lu Chen used stealth and disappeared in front of everyone. Lu Chen restocked on a large number of miscellaneous spirit-gathering pills and the best healing medicine in the city. He then secretly left Firmament City. After returning to his territory, Lu Chen first changed the spiritual source in his territory. He changed the Stage 3 Spiritual Source Core to the Stage 4 Spiritual Source Core that he obtained this time. Then, he opened his backpack to check his loot. The 5 Elements Sacred Pet Forbidden Area was very difficult to find. Correspondingly, the rewards were equally amazing. Basically, every monster would drop some fragments. Lu Chen calculated that he could synthesize 170 green mounts, 40 blue mounts, and 12 purple mounts. In addition, there were a set of mount fragments. A mount had a total of 5 equipment slots. Lu Chen had 200 fragments on him. Of course, the most important thing was the heaven-devouring demonic tiger summoning stone. Lu Chen summoned the heaven-devouring demonic tiger cub. Including this new member, he now had 12 divine beasts. Damn, I still have to expand the number of people in the army and increase the level of the army. Only then can I increase the size of the dungeon and get more spirit essences. Fortunately, the Black Tiger had dropped 9-star materials this time. One 9-star material could be exchanged for 100 million reputation points. There were a total of 10 talent fragments and star ascension points, which could be exchanged for 1 billion reputation points. That should be enough. Next, Lu Chen carefully looked at the 5 mounts. The attributes of each of these mounts were almost the same, and they all had their own skills. However, the 5 mounts belonged to the 5 elements, and their skills were biased towards different sides. The Fire Dragon belonged to the fire element, the Sky-Cracking Centipede belonged to the metal element, the Sea-Cracking Mysterious Dragon Whale belonged to the water element, the Leviathan belonged to the earth element, and the Bone-Rotting Kuan King belonged to the wood element. In the west, Leviathan controlled the sea and was a sea monster. However, in the 5 elements it controlled the earth. It seemed that it could use the influence of the seabed to stir up trouble at the bottom of the sea. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. The 5 elements are all here. Lu Chen also had nothing to do. Or rather, he had a sudden idea. He opened the equipment synthesis interface. The 5 elements are all complete. Can you synthesize something? In fact, Lu Chen did not have much hope. This might just be a reaction from playing too many games. The system could synthesize. He had all the mounts obtained from the Forbidden Land of the Gods at the same time. He would not die trying. However, an accident happened at this time. Mount Fusion. Success rate 50%. All materials will disappear after failure. Lu Chen was so shocked that he almost jumped up. Damn, he was just playing around. Could it really be synthesized? However, this was not the main point. The main point was that there was only a 50% success rate. Once it failed, the materials would be gone? Then, wouldn't his 5 orange mounts be gone? With Lu Chen's understanding of his own luck, a 50% success rate was most likely to fail. Putting more additional mounts as sacrifices can increase the success rate. Orange mount synthesis. The minimum number of orange mounts put is a purple mount. Lu Chen finally saw a glimmer of hope and hurriedly put 40 purple mounts as sacrifices. He cried while putting them down. Damn, it's all money. Oh my god, it's more painful than 100% opening of the pain system. In the end, the success rate reached 90%, But this was not a 100% success rate. Lu Chen waited nervously for the final result. Ding, synthesis successful. Lu Chen collapsed on the ground and let out a long sigh. Thank God, I almost got myself killed. By the way, what did I synthesize? Chapter 246. Lu Chen hurriedly checked it. Synthesized 9-winged celestial dragon, dark gold mount. Unique, 9-winged celestial dragon? Lu Chen was shocked. This guy was ranked first in the 10 great dire beasts of the wilderness. It was said that it was a transcendent. Damn, it's even dark gold. In Jiutian, there were several types of equipment that had appeared at the moment. They were ranked from lowest to highest, namely white, green, blue, purple, orange, dark gold, and orange. Pseudo-divine artifacts were even stronger than normal orange ones. As for what grades there were after that, it was still unknown. That is to say, Lu Chen did not do it, but once he did it, he got a dark gold. Damn, that's awesome! Lu Chen exclaimed. In that case, it was totally worth it to sacrifice 40 purple ones. Lu Chen immediately summoned his new mount. A huge flying dragon wrapped in flames instantly covered the entire Mount of Benevolence. This guy was at least 100 meters long, with 9 pairs of wings on its body. Its huge dragon claws were extremely sharp, and its dragon whiskers moved with the wind. Its pair of dragon eyes looked down on the vast land as if it was a king. Lu Chen took a deep breath. Wow, I can tell that it's a strong leg just by looking at it. No matter how noble the 9-winged celestial dragon was, after seeing Lu Chen, it obediently attached itself to him. Lu Chen directly flew into the sky and landed on the dragon's head. I've inherited all the skills, and the effect seems to have been enhanced. Lu Chen smiled slightly and stroked the 9-winged celestial dragon's dragon mane. The 9-winged celestial dragon was really huge. Even from afar, the players in the Celestial Mountain main city and Lingshao main city could see the giant dragon hovering in the air. Damn, look, what's that? My God, it's a dragon. How big is that? It's too shocking. It has 9 pairs of wings. Wait, that can't be a 9-winged celestial dragon. Although many beta testers had purple mounts, some of them were indeed amazing. They were all mythical beasts from the classic of mountains and seas or ancient legends. Some were even bigger than the 9-winged celestial dragon. However, in front of a dragon, they were all little brothers, not to mention a 9-winged celestial dragon. That was a true brother among brothers. When the 9-winged celestial dragon appeared, the official forums and live stream rooms all exploded. Back then, when the players saw the purple mount of the closed beta players, they were envious. But now, when they saw the 9-winged celestial dragon mount, they didn't even have the right to be envious. Because everyone knew that this thing was not something an ordinary person could get their hands on. Now, the players could only admire and worship him. Lu Yi immediately called her brother. Brother, is that 9-winged celestial dragon your mount? It's definitely yours. It's impossible for anyone else to get a mount of this level. I want to sit. I want to sit. I want to sit. Please, take me with you. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Didn't his sister want to claim that she wanted to be independent? Why was she so agitated today? Oh, got it. I'll go to Firmament City to pick you up in a bit. Ling Nua's voice also came over. Boss, is that mount yours? Can I feel it? Even Ling Nua couldn't resist? Lu Chen blinked his eyes. This was completely not in line with Ling Nua's calm personality. Master, where are you? That dragon, the 9-winged celestial dragon. I want to sit on it too. I really regret not going to level up with you. Sob, sob, sob. Ning Shuang's voice was not strange at all. That guy definitely wouldn't fall behind. Li Muhua's phone call didn't come through a few times. Now, he finally called. Brother, I just want to go up and take a look. I beg you. You're a soldier after all. Can't you have some backbone? I don't want backbone. I don't want integrity. I want to get a kick out of it. Brother, take me with you. It's too powerful. I'm not even in the mood to level up now. Lu Chen shook his head. It seemed that this group of people all wanted to go up and experience it. Lu Chen had no choice but to ride the 9-winged celestial dragon and fly to Firmament City. On the way, some players who were leveling up were suddenly shrouded in a shadow. They looked up and saw a huge dragon meandering in the sky. F***ck me. What is that? It's a dragon. A 9-winged celestial dragon. Oh my god, is that a mount? Who's so strong to get such a mount? Mad god or nameless? Others didn't know that even Lu Chen had a hard time getting a 9-winged celestial dragon. Passing 5 element mountains in an hour and only having a 50% success rate when combining. This 9-winged celestial dragon didn't seem like something that should exist in the first heaven. After passing through the 100 Beast Mountains, Lu Chen was already close to Firmament City. After all, Firmament City was an advanced main city. Usually, some closed beta players could be seen here riding their mount. The 9-winged celestial dragon seemed a little unhappy when it saw the mounts coming and going. It suddenly roared. Roar. Suddenly, all the mounts around it were in a mess. F***ck. What's going on? Why can't I control my mount? What the hell? What's wrong, Baize? Why are you descending? I didn't ask you to land. All the mounts made an emergency landing. No matter how their owners controlled them, they didn't take off. They stood on the ground and looked in the direction of the sky. Those closed beta players looked up curiously and saw the giant dragon pass over their heads. F***ck. This, is it making way for him? F***ck. Just by relying on its aura, it can suppress the other mounts? What does that mean? When he passes by, all the other mounts have to land. This F***king, this is too inhumane. Purple mounts had no rights in front of the 9-winged celestial dragon. When they saw the 9-winged celestial dragon, they could only make an emergency landing and worship it. On the city wall, many people also saw this scene. Everyone was shocked. This is too exaggerated. As long as the 9-winged celestial dragon is flying, the other mounts aren't allowed to fly with it? This is too domineering. It's too cool. When can I have such a mount? It's really the best in the world. Right? Is this mount mad gods or nameless? Not long after, people finally saw the man standing on the dragon's head. The violent wind lifted up his clothes, creating a gust of wind. However, his expression was indifferent and he remained unmoved. At this moment, Lu Chen's appearance instantly reached its peak. Countless female players on the city wall looked at him with peach blossoms in their eyes. He's too cool. I love him to death. Is this the king? He's the king of the world, the best in the world. Brother Nameless is worthy of being the war god of Huaxia. Now I have no other thoughts other than worship. People were often like this. If you were a little stronger than others, others would only be jealous. If you were a few levels stronger than others, then there would only be worship left. The giant dragon enveloped half of Lingxiao City. Lu Chen saw a few familiar faces and smiled at them. He stroked the 9-winged heavenly dragon. You're too hot-tempered. In a while, some of my friends will come up. Be good, okay? The 9-winged celestial dragon was a little unhappy and had a straight face. But since it was its master's words, it did not object. Lu Chen smiled. Look at your expression. Okay, just this once. Wait for me here. Lu Chen flew directly to the city wall to find his friends. At this time, in front of thousands of onlookers, the 9-winged celestial dragon put on its ugly face and looked down at these ants. Chapter 247. Lu Chen was not a domineering person, but his mounts were not easy to deal with. As far as the eye could see, only the 9-winged celestial dragon was allowed to exist in the sky. How domineering was that? Everyone felt the wind blowing in their faces. Lu Chen turned around to look. Lu Yi, Ling Nuo, Xian, and Ning Shuang all had their own beauty. They were very much like the beautiful girls who came out of the anime. Li Mu Hua, Stardust, 10 Steps, Handsome, and the others were all dancing with excitement. Lu Chen looked back and felt a little emotional. He did not expect to make so many friends in the game. In this game, he was no longer alone. Speaking of friends, I wonder how Luo Yu is doing. Maybe I will have the chance to meet him in the future. That night, Lu Chen called for an auction for the Wild Wave Guild and sold all the green and blue mounts. It was confirmed that the only one that could be obtained was the Blood 8. Moreover, it had to be given a 5 times reward in order to have a chance of dropping it. The mounts of the closed beta players were all given by the closed beta players. As for the Sky Pet Instance Dungeon, even Lu Chen could not find its location. Perhaps because he had taken all the pets, the Instance Dungeon was no longer available. All in all, in the first heaven, there were almost no other ways to obtain mounts. Of course, the price of the mounts would not be low. 170 green mounts. The average price of each mount was 150,000. 73 blue mounts had an average price of 400,000. Other than the pets, there was another income that could not be underestimated. 200 sets of mount equipment fragments, each of them sold for 120,000. Some players described the price of the mounts in Jiutian as being similar to the price of a car. The total income from this auction was 78 million. After deducting the 10% handling fee, Lu Chen earned 70 million. The audience watching the livestream was shocked by the terrifying amount of transactions. What the F***CK? Nameless Bro made a lot of money again. It's almost 100 million. Jiutian has always had a lot of turnover. Now, the turnover of the market has reached 10 billion. As the existence at the top of the pyramid, earning 70 million is not too scary. That may be the case, but you have to know that Nameless Bro only went to the dungeon once and earned so much. 70 million. That's terrifying. What's 70 million? Have you forgotten about Brother Nameless' own mount? I'm curious how much the 9-winged Skydragon would fetch if it were auctioned off. It feels like the price of a 9-winged celestial dragon is more expensive than all of these. People will buy it even if it costs 100 million. The problem now is that Nameless probably won't sell it. Nameless obviously would not sell the Skydragon, and he had kept 4 or 5 mounts. Lu Chen gave the golden retriever to Lu Yi. He had always used it in the past, so he had some feelings for it. It was most suitable for his sister. Ning Shuang was also given a Baifeng. After all, Lu Chen usually brought her to level up. The heavenly dragon's bad temper was obvious. Besides Lu Chen, other than Lu Chen, it was unhappy to sit on its back. So, Ning Shuang was given a Baifeng. Other than these, Lu Chen also left 3 mounts in Wild Wave. One was for Ling Nuo and the other was for her to distribute. In the next few days, Lu Chen leveled up by himself while bringing Ning Shuang along. Although Lu Chen had long wanted to go to the Tong Tian Tower, after the setback in the 5 Elements Forbidden Grounds, Lu Chen felt that it was better for him to be fully prepared before going. 3 days later, no matter how much Ning Shuang did not want to level up, she was still brought to level 42 by Lu Chen. "Master, I leveled up." Ning Shuang pouted, looking unhappy. "Can I not finish my apprenticeship? I don't want you to bring me along in the future, but I just don't want to finish my apprenticeship." Lu Chen smiled faintly. This girl was really interesting. "It's still too early for you to finish your apprenticeship. I only raised your level, but your combat ability still needs to be improved. Master, I saw your fight last time, but I didn't learn anything. You just crushed me, okay." Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. Ning Shuang was right, but there were not many things that could make him use his real strength. "Master, why don't you teach me some skills?" I only have 2 skills. One is the Great Ravager Sweep, the other is the spider web entanglement. The others are all special effects from equipment. Ah, Master, what about your class skills? Oh right, I don't think I've ever seen you use any of your class skills. I don't want to be limited by that. Lu Chen said, the Great Ravager Sweep does too little damage to you. If it can't kill you in an instant, then it's useless. Master, Jiutian's 100-day celebration. There's still more than a month before the all-server individual tournament begins. The qualifiers will begin in half a month, and the top 256 will be chosen. I am a little nervous. How can I improve quickly? Lu Chen also knew about the individual competition. He thought for a while and said, my request for E is to turn on the pain sensing system to 100% and challenge the dungeon alone. With the pain sensing system turned on, every time you challenge a dungeon, and every time you face an enemy, you won't dare to be careless. Only under such circumstances can you better stimulate your potential. Lu Chen thought that a rich missy like Ning Shuang would definitely not agree. Who knew that she would immediately nod her head. Okay, I'm Master's disciple. I can't embarrass Master. If he can do it, so can I. Master, I'm going to cultivate. After saying that, Ning Shuang ran off. Lu Chen blinked. It seemed that there was a benefit to having a rich missy like her, and that was that she was unwilling to admit defeat. The reward for the first place of this all-server individual tournament was a purple mount, enough equipment fragments to unlock all the mount's equipment, a set of green mount equipment, a purple dragon claw, 2 purple high-attribute magic treasures, various medicinal pills, and a cash prize of 5 million. The rewards were very generous, and such rewards were enough to make the players go crazy. However, Lu Chen was not interested at all. The competition would last for half a month, and who knew how many matches he had to fight. With this time, Lu Chen might as well do something else. Although Lu Chen did not intend to participate, the players were very concerned. Isn't Mad God and Nameless the first and second places? Normal players like us should start fighting for the third place. There are also closed beta players. Will they participate? If they participate, we won't have a chance at all. Previous poster, the official website has already said that closed beta players are not included in the competition. Actually, I'd like to see Mad God and Nameless compete. Yeah, Mad God and Nameless. One is Mad God and the other is War God. Who's stronger? Maybe we'll see the result this time. All kinds of topics spread on the forum, and the popularity continued to increase. Even during the official press conference, people were asked about the strength of Mad God and Nameless. I'm sorry, our company has always insisted that we will not reveal any information about the game, so I can't answer this question. We'll have to wait and see on the day of the competition, the spokesperson replied with a smile. When Lu Chen saw that so many people were discussing him, he once again made a rare post. Solipsistic. Nameless and I officially announce that we will not be participating in the individual competition. We wish everyone a happy gaming experience. Chapter 248. As soon as Lu Chen's post was posted, it was still very popular, but it didn't take long for his post to be pushed down. Lu Chen took a look. It was from Autumn Knight Ning Shuang, his disciple. Autumn Knight Ning Shuang, don't send me any more emails. I just want to train. Here's a reply to my master's suggestion. There's only one suggestion. Turn on the 100% pain system and clear the dungeon alone. A bunch of people replied, and the post was very popular. Moreover, starting from the second floor, the replies were very neat. They all called Ning Shuang senior sister. Lu Chen was speechless. Since when did he have so many disciples? Senior sister, master is too ruthless. But this is a good idea. After turning on the pain system, I will go all out against every enemy. Senior sister, please take me along. When can you tell master to take me in as a disciple? I have a fresh and tender chrysanthemum. Funny face to save life. Those who contribute chrysanthemum, I'll sign up too. Master has good taste. We've long advocated turning on the pain system. That way we can experience the game better. Clap, clap, clap. Lu Chun was also on the verge of collapse. This generation of online games was becoming more and more uncaring about their chrysanthemums. Suddenly, the Huaxia server, and even the other servers, started a craze, turning on the pain system in the game. This probably had something to do with Ning Shuang's post. At the same time, Lu Chen began to distance himself from this bunch of lunatics and continued to level up. After reaching a higher level, Lu Chen's leveling speed was not as fast as before. Now, he needed more than 100 million experience to level up once. Currently, only the level 48 dungeon, Thousand Demon Burial, gave more experience, but it was only a normal dungeon. A single run would only give him 5 to 6 million experience. The last few levels are so slow. Lu Chen shook his head. This dungeon was so hard that he was about to vomit. He had no choice. In order to reach level 50, he had to do it even if he vomited. Forget it, forget it. I'll continue. It's better than killing monsters in the wild. Lu Chen said helplessly. When I reach level 50, I'll fuse with a few new species. 12 days later, the Nine Heaven World welcomed the second large-scale official event. With each country as a unit, the individual competition preliminaries had already begun. Almost all the members of the Frenzied Waves Guild had signed up. Regardless of whether they could obtain a ranking, they could at least increase their combat experience. For the time being, the Immortal Mountain main city's server would be one area. Anyone could enter the arena that would appear temporarily outside the Immortal Mountain main city, and the system would randomly assign an opponent. Although it was said to be random, it really was random. As long as it wasn't a closed beta player, players could encounter opponents of any level and equipment, because they would meet in the end anyway. Every player had to participate in 3 matches per day. Based on the calculation of 400 million players in the Huaxia server, 350 million players would be eliminated on the first day. This was a real national competition. All the major streamers were also doing their best to broadcast the grand duel. ESD's Xiao Yaofeng has already completed all 3 matches. His strength is one of the best in our region. I think he has the potential to enter the top 256 in the country. Actually, the Crown Prince is still very strong. He's already level 38, and his equipment is also very luxurious. He easily completed the 3rd round and advanced to the next round. Wow, the members of Frenzied Waves are very strong. More than 10 of them have already advanced to the next round. The veteran expert TT is still strong. Their members are almost unrivaled in the arena. On the second day, after the 3 matches, there were still 6 million players left. On the third day, there were 760,000. On the 4th day, there were only 80,000 players left. On the 7th day, all the people who entered the top 256 were selected. These people were undoubtedly the strongest of the strong, the elites of the elite. What surprised many people was that the Wild Wave Guild, which was once thought to be just a subordinate of John Doe, actually had 4 people selected this time. Handsome, Ning Shuang, and a small team leader, unlimited firepower. Part of it was also luck. For example, Cold Glutinous and Chic met professional players who were also the disciples of a closed beta player. It was a pity that they lost when their level and equipment were suppressed. After the top 256 were determined, all the selected players would rest for a week, waiting for the final battle. All the players in the server were paying attention to the individual matches. Lu Chen finally had some free time. With nothing to do, Lu Chen upgraded the army order again and captured 10 new players. This time, Lu Chen captured the Red Robe Evil Spirit from a level 48 dungeon. Speaking of which, the Red Robe Evil Spirit did not look much better than the 8 heads. However, this thing was really powerful. Its attack was all magic attack, and its movement speed was very fast. It also had the characteristic of being immune to physical attack. Its talent was to reduce the opponent's attack power. With such a strong talent, Lu Chen fused with it. Now that he had fused with the evil spirit, Lu Chen was not picky anymore. He fused with the zombie from the underground mine, the swamp zombie from the desert oasis, and the giant vampire bat from the miasma trail. Renefeng. Lu Chen took off his human skin and fell into deep thought as he looked at his current appearance. Apart from its previous appearance, its tiger head was now devoid of even its eyeballs. This was the effect of fusing with an evil ghost. Its originally terrifying body was now rotten and shriveled, looking like a rotten tree. This was the effect of fusing with zombies and rotting corpses. The two large fangs in its mouth and pointy ears were the unique features of a giant vampire bat. Damn it! It's getting more and more evil. However, it did not matter. Lu Chen could change his appearance if he wanted. The key was that these wild monsters had good talent. After fusing with so many new species in one go, Lu Chen suddenly realized a problem. Now that his grade was 7 stars, the total number of talents he could activate could not exceed 2 stars. In other words, Lu Chen could only activate 9 talents at most. After weighing the pros and cons, Lu Chen decided on the 9 talents he was using. The werewolf, tiger demon, poisonous spider, green snake, macaque, flower demon, and undead were all retained. In addition, he added the vengeful spirit bloodline of the evil spirit and the bat demon bloodline of the giant vampire bat. After leveling up, these 2 talents had become quite powerful. Talent 8, Vengeful Spirit Bloodline, Level 6 Fright. Reduces the physical and magical attack power of enemies within 40 meters by 15%. At the same time, reduces the enemy's attack speed by 10%. Increases the casting time by 10%. Talent 9, Bat Demon Bloodline, Level 6 Vampiric. Absorbs 12% of the health damage caused by physical attack. At the same time, the healing effect is increased by 20%. These 2 skills were very useful, especially the vampiric of the Bat Demon Bloodline. This was a passive skill that Lu Chen had always wanted. Although the current vampiric ratio was not high, the effect was already very impressive when combined with his high attack power. There was no one else in the territory, so it did not matter if Lu Chen's original appearance was exposed. These few days, he was busy upgrading the army hall. After the upgrade, he put in the extra level 3 soul source core. There was also the upgrade of the personal dungeon. The previous level 25, 5-person dungeon could now be upgraded to a level 30, 10-person team dungeon. When everything was done, the finals of the all-server individual competition officially began. On this day, Lu Chen also reached level 50. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Level 50. It's time. Chapter 249. Stone Gate World. It had been a long time since he came here. Lu Chen summoned Xiaomin. Xiaomin, we're home. Boss, are you going to that place? Xiaomin tilted her head and looked at Lu Chen. Yes, I remember that there might be a hidden dungeon here. After completing the Kill the Watchdog mission that Xiaomin issued, Lu Chen got a Dead Soul Gate key. Xiaomin said that the dungeon was a level 50 elite dungeon. Lu Chen did not go because he was only around level 20. Now he could go. Lu Chen still remembered that there was a terrifying creature in this dungeon. Back then, Cenobus kept using the Mukin Pearl to help it accumulate power. Moreover, that creature seemed to be closely related to one of the 3 dungeons. Walking directly to the formation that Cenobus had set up, Lu Chen found that the Mukin Pearl was still floating there. However, without the nourishment of spiritual power, the Mukin Pearl was not as dazzling. It was like an ordinary crystal ball floating in the air. Boss, take the Mukin Pearl, Xiaomin suddenly said. Huh? Didn't you say that I can't take it last time? Boss, the Mukin Pearl is also a pseudo-divine artifact. You already have the ability to control a pseudo-divine artifact set. The Mukin Pearl is no longer a problem. Lu Qin was pleasantly surprised. He could take the Mukin Pearl? Speaking of which, there had always been a pseudo-divine artifact here, but he never came to take it. Xiao Min, why didn't you say so earlier? Boss, Xiao Min can only remind you of some things. I can't advise you to do anything. I can only say it when we're here. Lu Qin smiled. So that's how it is. I misunderstood you. With that, Lu Qin walked to the Mukin Pearl and picked it up with one hand. Check the attributes. Mukin Pearl, orange pseudo-divine artifact. Strength. 100 agility. 100 constitution. 100 special effect 1. Automatically collect wearer's level *1 points of pure spirit energy every minute. Special effect 2. Increase the probability of obtaining pure spirit energy by killing enemies by 200%. Increase the amount of pure spirit energy obtained by killing enemies by wearer's level /2 point. Special effect 3. Spiritual energy storm. Increase spiritual energy by 1000 points for 300 seconds and fill up the elixir with pure spiritual energy. Cooldown time, 30 minutes. Special effect 4, take it. Permanently increase pure spiritual energy by 300 points. After taking it, the Mukin Pearl will be consumed. His basic stats were trash, but that was not the main point. Seeing the Mukin Pearl's attributes, Lu Qin was simply stunned. What the f***ck, this is simply a divine artifact. Lu Qin's eyes widened. He couldn't believe that the Mukin Pearl's attributes were actually so abnormal. The first two special effects could increase the speed of collecting pure spiritual energy by an unknown number of times, and it could be collected every second, 50 points per minute. There was no need for Lu Qin to stop and cultivate. In the future, when he killed enemies, there was almost a 100% chance of obtaining pure spirit energy, and it would be at least 26 points. The spiritual energy storm was also very powerful. Although Lu Qin had already found the tiger's roar bug, so it was very easy to increase his spiritual attack, and it was a large increase. However, the spiritual energy storm increased his spiritual energy. Not only did it increase his spiritual attack, but it also increased the upper limit of his pure spiritual energy storage. In this way, when he used techniques, Lu Qin did not need to worry about his own pure spiritual energy storage. After opening the equipment slot, Lu Qin hurriedly invited the Mukin Pearl to the new treasure slot. This is really strong. Haha, with the Mukin Pearl, I feel much more at ease. Before entering the dungeon, he had already obtained a pseudo-divine artifact. This was considered a good start. Lu Qin was in a good mood. He quickly took out the Dead Spirit Door secret room, opened the dungeon, and stepped into the Dead Spirit Door. The monsters in the Dead Spirit Door were all level 50. The wild monsters here were all nightmare spirits in the energy state. Lu Qin was very experienced in fighting nightmare spirit. In less than half an hour, he arrived at the boss room. In the boss room sat a boss that Lu Qin had never encountered before. This was a huge skeleton. Even if it was sitting there, it was at least 15 meters tall. If it stood up, it would probably be twice as tall. The throne under its body looked abnormally dazzling. It was covered with densely packed skulls, and the strange thing was that the eyes of each skull were bright. The whole throne occasionally emitted an indescribable sound, as if something was crying. This throne seemed to be alive. The skull wore a crown and wore armor. It proudly leaned on the back of the throne, and on the armrest beside it was a strangely shaped broadsword. The broadsword had a huge skeletal hand, and it opened up to form the hilt. The whole sword was suffused with a faint white light. Boss, be careful. That's the Bone King Reynolds. It's very strong. Lu Qin frowned slightly. Is it very strong? How is it compared to the heaven-devouring demonic tiger? Xiaomin hesitated for a moment and said, Boss, this guy is not a remnant soul. Hearing this, Lu Chun suddenly felt his hair stand on end. The heaven-devouring demonic tiger, violet flame phoenix, aurora white tiger, and so on. Although Lu Chun could kill these bosses now, it was not difficult. However, Lu Chun was very clear about one thing. No matter how strong those mythological beasts were, they were only remnants of their souls. A mere remnant soul was already so fierce. If he encountered the real body, Lu Chun did not have the confidence to underestimate himself. And this time, although this guy that Lu Chun encountered was not a divine beast, it was the real body. And this was very likely to be the outpost of the 3 hidden dungeons. The difficulty of the hidden dungeon was even higher than Twilight of the Gods. Lu Chun took a deep breath and stared at the Bone King. Whether it's the real body or the remnant soul, I must pass this level. Xiaomin, possess. Yes, boss. Lu Chun did not dare to be careless against this guy and carefully stepped into the battlefield. Ha 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 ha, it's you. I remember you. The Bone King was the first to speak. I know you defeated Cenobus and took away the Mukan Pearl. Lu Chun sneered. Aren't you talking nonsense? If I didn't kill Cenobus, where would I get the undead gate key? You're talking as if you're smart. Bone King Reynolds slowly reached out his hand and gripped the greatsword. The skeletal claws on the greatsword instantly extended several times. He patted the throne below him and said, Very good. Since you were able to make it this far, you have proven your strength. But Solipsistic, do you know why my throne is alive? It was normal for an NPC to know Lu Chun's ID. Lu Chun said disdainfully, Who knows? The Bone King suddenly swung the greatsword and fiercely struck the throne. Suddenly, the skeletons embedded in the throne were smashed into pieces. Then, a large number of undead ran out from within. They seemed to want to break free and escape, but the Bone King grabbed at the air with one hand. These undead screamed and began to drill into the Bone King's body. It turned out that the skeletons looked alive because there were tens of thousands of undead imprisoned within them. Screams, wails, and cries merged together. The Bone King greedily sucked these undead souls. Its body grew again, reaching 50 meters. At the same time, a translucent shield formed in front of it. Lu Chun furrowed his brows. He had already realized that this boss would be the strongest boss he had encountered so far. Chapter 250. The Bone King seemed to have undergone an evolution. His entire body was different from before. His body had become larger, surrounded by black gas, and a giant air shield was propped up in front of him. You have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. I wonder how strong you are. Lu Chun snorted coldly and was the first to attack. Quick move! Earth-splitting chasm! The 150-meter-long Raging Flame's wishful staff did not seem so exaggerated in front of the Bone King. With a bang, the staff slammed down. However, the staff only hit the Bone King's shield. The shield showed 5633328/600,000. Not only that, but all the other effects of Earth-Splitting Chasm did not work. Earth-Splitting Chasm and Stun were completely ineffective. The Bone King smiled slightly and grabbed with one hand. From the broken throne, some souls poured out again and quickly filled the energy of the shield. The shield showed 600,000/600,000. What? Lu Chun was shocked. The Bone King could absorb energy from the throne to replenish its shield. That shield was already strong enough. In that case, if the souls of the throne were not consumed, the Bone King could always replenish the shield. Lu Chun might not even be able to break the shield. Moreover, the Earth-Splitting Chasm's special effect was ineffective, causing Lu Chun to be unable to control that guy. That was the most terrifying part. Just as Lu Chun was thinking about countermeasures, the Bone King had already made his move. Void Splitter. A thick sword energy shot toward Lu Chen. Although there was only one sword energy, its range was so wide that Lu Chen took a deep breath. F***CK, is this a full-screen attack? That's right. A sword energy cut across the sky and covered the entire boss room, leaving Lu Chen with no way out. Lu Chen stared at the sword chi, estimating the speed of the sword chi. At the moment of imminent peril, Lu Chen roared in a low voice, "Monkey King's clone." This clone would only produce one clone, and its strength was the weakest. However, at the moment of activating the clone, Lu Chen was in an invincible state and could not be targeted or attacked. It was this fraction of a second that allowed Lu Chen to avoid the sword chi. However, the sword chi did not stop after passing by Lu Chen. Instead, it blasted into the distance. The boss room collapsed. The sword chi continued to sweep towards the dungeon entrance. The surrounding buildings and rocks were all cut apart. In the end, the Chaos Gate at the entrance of the Instance Dungeon was broken. The original departed Spirit Gate dungeon was now exposed in the 100 Beast Mountain range. What? Lu Chen's eyes widened as he stared at the scene in disbelief. At this moment, even the experienced Lu Chen couldn't wrap his head around it. This sword directly destroyed the structure of the dungeon? How could this be? Boss, don't be in a daze. Do you still remember that the quest reward was the Instance Dungeon's source? This Instance Dungeon is also built by the Instance Dungeon support. This Instance Dungeon can be destroyed by humans, but it requires an extremely large amount of destructive power or some kind of special cultivation method. Of course, Lu Chen remembered the Instance Dungeon's source. Until now, his Instance Dungeon was still helping him earn a lot of resources and money every day. From the looks of it, the Bone King's void-shattering move was either extremely powerful or a special cultivation method that could destroy the structure of the dungeon. The Bone King laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha, speaking of which, I still have to thank you. The departed Spirit Gate's key? Didn't you think that the moment you opened the departed Spirit Gate, it also meant that I could come out from inside? Ha 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 ha, you didn't expect this, did you? You stopped the Muddy Dust Pearl from helping me collect energy, but you also personally released me. The departed spirit resources here are too rich. I can enjoy them to my heart's content. From now on, I will be the true king of this place. Lu Chen frowned. He really did not expect that the follow-up of this quest would be such a plot. This had completely exceeded his understanding of the game. Either the Heavenly Executioner was not human and had a hole in his brain, or there were some things that even the Heavenly Executioner could not control. The Bone King sneered. With a wave of his hand, a large number of departed spirits rushed toward Lu Chen. Lu Chen was about to dodge, but when he stopped, he realized that the departed spirits were rushing toward him again. F***CK, how do I dodge this thing? As he spoke, these departed spirits bound Lu Chen one by one. He could not move, could not use elixirs, and could not use cultivation methods. However, under such circumstances, the Bone King did not attack Lu Chen. It opened its mouth and laughed loudly. You can't dodge my 10,000 soul silk, but you don't have to worry. I can't attack you now, but you need to stay here alone for a while. After saying that, the Bone King actually left him and strode toward the distance. From the Bone King's explanation, it seemed that this skill was similar to entanglement of spider silk. It could only bind and did not cause any damage. Once attacked, it would automatically dispel. However, it was a little surprising that the Bone King did not take the opportunity to attack him. Lu Chen looked at the binding time. Damn it, 30 minutes. Where the hell is that guy going? Lu Chen looked back. After a short while, his face suddenly changed. That direction. North of Firmament City. At this time, Firmament City was holding an individual tournament. At this time, it had already entered the final round of 256 people. There were countless players gathered there to watch the competition. Because the players were pursuing their own combat skills, Many of them were probably still using the full pane system. Not good. What kind of monster did I release? The competition just now was very exciting. It seems that there are still many experts in our Huaxia server. Also, congratulations to the players above for entering the top 64. Outside Firmament City, there were a total of 9 temporarily built huge arenas. Among them, the middle arena was the largest, with a length of 300 meters. This central arena was temporarily not used. Only the 8 surrounding arenas would be used. Because the final round would be held soon, only then would it be qualified to be held in this arena. The Skyline officials had found the famous host, Nellen. At this time, she was passionately hosting on the central arena. Soon, we will begin the top 64 competition. We are getting closer and closer to determining the strongest player. Is everyone very excited? Actually, I am also very excited. However, we also need to give the contestants some time to rest. Next, let's invite Jay Cho to sing a song for everyone. Everyone, please take a short break. Jiutian actually had product placement, and the King of Pop was also singing. This national competition had attracted a large number of businesses. This also showed that Jiutian's influence was growing. The business opportunities were also becoming more and more mature. After Jay Cho went on stage, he looked at the countless audience below and smiled. Everyone must be anxious to watch the final round. I won't waste any more time. Music teacher, let's begin. Familiar music sounded. It was Jay Chou's famous song, Nunchaku. Many players also sang along. Hurry up and use the nunchaku, ha ha. Hurry up and use the nunchaku, ha ha. Jay Cho suddenly froze. An accident? No, Jay Cho slowly put down the microphone and looked into the distance in shock. In that direction there was a huge object. After a few hits, it was getting closer and closer. What is that? Chapter 251. The central ring was much higher than the ground, so Jay Cho could see the Bone King, but the other players couldn't. Nellen didn't notice the figure rising and falling in the forest. She thought that something had happened to Jay Cho. After all, it wasn't the first time he forgot his lines, so she hurriedly went up the stage. Oh, there's a problem with our equipment. Everyone knows that it's difficult to copy real-life equipment into the game. I'm very sorry. Jay Cho looked at Nellen as if he wanted to say something, but Nellen interrupted. Let's invite Jay Cho to take a break. Alright, let's begin the next round. Contestants, please come up the stage. On Wild Wave's side, only Ning Shuang made it to the top 64. At this level, Liu Yingjin and the others couldn't show off their skills in front of professional players who were close to level 40. On the other hand, Ning Shuang made it to the top 64 with her level 43 equipment advantage. In this round, Ning Shuang's opponent was Thunderclap's Emperor. He was one of the first players to be accepted as a disciple by the closed beta players. He was now level 40. There was a huge difference between level 4 and level 40. There was a difference of more than 100 million EXP. However, there wasn't much of a difference between them. Both of them could equip level 40 equipment. Ning Shuang, don't be nervous. You can do it. Yeah, you've trained hard in the dungeon for so long. Your skills aren't any worse than others. Everyone encouraged Ning Shuang. Ning Shuang nodded heavily. Yes, I must win. I'm Master's disciple. I can't embarrass him. The 8 contestants went up the stage one after another. The competition was about to begin. However, at this moment, someone suddenly whispered, "Do you guys feel?" Someone immediately followed up, "Earthquake?" Yeah, it's not an earthquake. It's just, the ground is shaking? It's very regular. As they spoke, the tremors became more and more obvious. More and more people felt the ground shaking under their feet. What's that? The audience turned around in surprise. The forest south of Firmament City shook more and more violently. The leaves rustled and the tree trunks shook rhythmically. It was as if something terrifying was approaching from the forest. Ha, so many people. I like it. A deep voice sounded. Great, I can collect more souls. Then, a huge skeletal arm peeled away the last layer of the forest, and the 50-meter-tall behemoth appeared in front of everyone. Everyone looked at Bone King in horror. Why is there a boss here? Why did you come to High Firmament City? What's Tianxing doing? We're in the middle of an individual battle. Why did he bring out a boss? What a big boss. It feels like it's different from other bosses. Bone King grinned. Hello, my food. Lu Chen's body was being restrained by the souls of the dead. As he was unable to use his cultivation technique, he was at his wits' end. The only thing he could rely on was Xiao Min's invisibility, but he couldn't break the bindings either. F***ck, this skill is too shameless. Lu Chen would one day say that other people's skills were shameless. The binding time was 30 minutes, and there were still 21 minutes left. It seemed like he could only wait for the binding time to end. That guy has probably already started a massacre outside High Firmament City. Lu Chen shook his head. Xiao Min, what kind of boss is that? Xiao Min was more familiar with the world of the Stone Gate. Perhaps she knew something. Xiao Min said, Boss, I only know that it's very, very strong. Don't get killed by that guy. Otherwise, you won't be able to revive for a long time. What? Lu Chen's eyes widened in shock. I know that it has two skills. The first is undead binding. After killing the target, it binds the target's soul and enslaves it. The second is skeleton cores. The target will become skeletons and be controlled by it. I've seen it kill people before, and those people became skeleton soldiers loyal to it after they died. If the body was occupied and the soul was bound, then the player's soul wouldn't be able to return to the reincarnation realm after death. This time, Lu Chen was completely shocked. This boss had completely exceeded the definition of a normal boss. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was a Jiutian devil. How long can players not be revived? Previously, in the Undead Gate dungeon, the upper limit was that the players gave up on continuing the dungeon. But now, it has broken the dungeon's limit. I think it might be more than 24 hours. Being killed by this guy, not being able to revive for 24 hours, and being enslaved by it. Players being enslaved by a boss was simply unheard of in other games. The key was that it was not restricted by the dungeon, which meant that it could kill players without limit. If that was the case, this guy would probably rule the Huaxia server in the future. Lu Chen shook his head. What the hell did I release? Forget it, I still have to solve this problem. Lu Chen anxiously looked at his status. It would have been better if he didn't look, but when he did, he almost vomited blood. Previously, it was still 21 minutes away from the end of the binding. Now, it had become 34 minutes. Why did my binding time become longer? Boss, the Skeleton King must have started its massacre. The more souls it collects, the stronger its skills. F***ck. Lu Chen almost collapsed. How could those players be its opponent? Wouldn't they be cut like leeks? Then, wouldn't he be bound forever? Crazy, then I'll be trapped here forever. Lu Chen felt his scalp go numb as he thought of this. No, I have to break free, Damn, how do I break free from this damn thing? At this moment, Lu Yi ran to Lu Chen's room, knocked on the glass door of the game cabin, and opened the voice channel. Brother, bad news, something big has happened. Lu Chen roughly knew what was going on, but he still wanted to know. What's wrong? A super boss has appeared in Firmament City, and it has already killed countless players. What's more terrifying is that after being killed by it, players can't revive. They will turn into skeleton soldiers and attack other players. Lu Chen frowned. It was just as he had expected. Brother, now our numbers are decreasing, and its numbers are increasing. We can't hold on anymore. What about you? What about Wild Waves? Stardust brought us to hide in Firmament City temporarily. It seems like it doesn't dare to come in, but it caught Ning Shuang. Ah? What do you mean it caught Ning Shuang? Ning Shuang didn't run with you? That boss said that it had already subdued your strongest player, and it also said that the strongest human player was less than an ant in its eyes. Ning Shuang got angry and fought with it, but in the end, Lu Chen shook his head. Ning Shuang, this silly girl. However, he could imagine that Lu Yi had probably simplified that guy's words. She probably didn't mock him. Ning Shuang's temper was nothing in front of him, but it didn't change in front of others. Even if it was a boss, Ning Shuang probably couldn't tolerate it. It said that it would make the strongest human player a slave forever. What? Hearing this, Lu Chen was completely enraged. It's just a boss, isn't it too arrogant? Brother, a few super experts have appeared and are fighting with the Bone King, but I have a feeling that they won't be able to hold on for long. Brother, come over quickly. Lu Chen was also anxious, but how could he break the undead bind on him? Chapter 252. At this time, in front of Firmament City, 4 players were fighting the Bone King. Ordinary players had never seen these 4 people, but the top players knew them. These 4 people were Jiuxi, Sengoku, Shuangxi, and Dongli. It was the appearance of these 4 people that allowed the top players in Huaxia to defeat the first and second mini-bosses in Tong Tian Tower in advance. Nameless was in the limelight, but in the hearts of the top players, these 4 people were the strongest players. Only these 4 people were qualified to fight the Bone King. Jiuxi, this guy's shield is so hard to break. Sengoku frowned. Judging from the situation just now, that guy could constantly replenish his shield with the souls of the dead. After fighting for a long time, the Bone King's undead shield was still full. Jiuxi was also in deep thought. Speaking of which, they did not want to care about the boss, but this boss was obviously different from the others. If it was allowed to kill players, no one would be able to survive in Jiutian in the future. Damn it, do we have to use that move? Jiuxi was in a dilemma. Jiuxi and the others were obviously not idle these days. Jiuxi had obtained the last item and could use that move, but considering that they wanted to make Nameless surrender, that move was always intended to be reserved for Nameless. If it was exposed now, Jiuxi was not sure if he could subdue Nameless. Ha 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 ha, just a group of ants. I already said that the strongest among you has been subdued by me. The Bone King laughed loudly, and at the same time, grabbed with one hand thousands of meters away. Lu Chen was still thinking about how to break free from the undead shackles. Suddenly, the souls of the dead around him seemed to have felt some kind of summoning, and rushed toward Firmament City from afar with Lu Chen. Damn, what's going on? Lu Chen could not move at all, and could only let his body fly out like a cannonball. Not long after, Lu Chen appeared outside Firmament City. Wow, look, it's Nameless. The sharp-eyed players immediately saw the figure. This boss is too strong. I've never seen such a strong boss before. Didn't a beta tester say that the 4 super champions were as strong as Nameless? Brother Nameless is here. I wonder if he can turn the tables. No matter what, now that Brother John Doe is here, our chances of winning have increased by 1 point. Lu Chen felt very depressed. Every time he came to High Firmament City, he was always the center of attention, so he was already used to it. Unfortunately, this time, his entire body was bound by the souls of the dead. He had been King tied up. Ha ha, do you see this person? You should all know each other. Bone King's skeletal face grimaced. Even he is about to be subdued by me. Why don't you submit to me? Cries of surprise could be heard all around. What? Nameless bro lost? Even the war god will be defeated? What's going on? Brother Nameless can't move. Oh no, he's really been subdued. Lu Chen was also speechless. He was dragged here by Bone King to advertise. However, it just so happened that the appearance of Nameless made Juicy, who had been hesitant, change his mind. If even Nameless was no match for him, then defeating Bone King was equivalent to defeating Nameless, and it was a higher level of defeat. At that time, what qualifications would that guy have to be unconvinced? In that case, there was no need to hesitate any longer. Bone King, don't think that you're invincible just because you defeated Nameless. Sengoku shouted angrily, then looked at his companions. Lu Chen was even more depressed. I haven't even fought yet, how could I be defeated? Bone King, if you have the ability, try to loosen the undead shackles. Although he didn't know the strength of Bone King, Lu Chen was absolutely confident that he would not be defeated so easily. Jiusi also nodded to his companions at this time. The four of them stood in the east, south, west, and north, and at the same time, they took out their magic weapons. As soon as this magic weapon appeared, there was a burst of exclamations on the city wall. Oh my God, 4 orange magic weapons! One for each of you, and have you noticed that the shape of the 4 magic weapons seems to be just right? The 4 magic weapons were 4 irregular flat objects. When the 4 people took out their magic weapons at the same time, the 4 magic weapons came close to each other and finally combined into a disc. Lower God card summon a Kwafu. The 4 people shouted at the same time. What is this? A special effect activated after the magic weapons are combined. Everyone was shocked. At the same time, a golden light shot out from the lower God card and went straight to the sky. The virtual image of a giant gradually condensed in the golden light. Is that Kwafu? Did they really summon a god? Damn, it's so big. It's not inferior to Bone King. Oh my God, we're saved now. Lu Chen was also stunned by this scene. The 4 of them had actually summoned a god. Unfortunately, when Lu Chen saw the profile picture above Kwafu's head, he was disappointed. The 4 of them did summon Kwafu, but to be more precise, it should be Kwafu's divine soul. Although Lu Chen didn't know the difference between divine soul and remnant soul, he was absolutely sure that at the same level, these souls were absolutely no match for the original body. And Bone King was the original body. This was also why almost all the players who got the Divine Beast Summoning Stone chose to summon the baby of the Divine Beast instead of the Summon Divine Beast Remnant Soul, that could rapidly increase the combat power in a short time. Sigh, it's not the original body after all. Lu Chen frowned. But at this moment, Juicy, Sengoku, Shuangshi, and Dongli suddenly turned into 4 rays of light and entered Kwafu's huge body at the same time. Kwafu's head suddenly changed. Kwafu's descent. Descent and possession were 2 completely different concepts. If it was descent, it meant that Kwafu really came. This move really shocked everyone. If so, then there might be hope. At this time, there were already 2 giants in the field. Of course, there was still a hostage on the side. He was too small now. Secondly, no one had time to pay attention to him now. Chasing Sun Blast. Kwafu took the lead. 2 pairs of huge fists blasted toward Bone King like a machine gun. The durability of Bone King's undead shield dropped rapidly. However, Bone King inside the shield was not surprised at all. Its skeletal face looked like it was smiling. Maybe it was really smiling. So what if Kwafu's descent is a child's play? Can he be compared with me, Bone King? Bone King opened his arms. Suddenly, the innumerable skeleton soldiers around him seemed to have lost their souls and turned into skeletons scattered on the ground. A large amount of black gas gathered toward Bone King from 100 miles away and finally lingered on his broadsword. Dark moon devours the sun. Bone King roared, and the giant sword burst out with amazing power. At a speed invisible to the naked eye, it penetrated Kwafu's body. It was really only a fraction of a second, faster and fiercer than Lu Chen's rapid movement. Before anyone could react, the giant sword had broken Kwafu's chest. -840,000. This damage was shocking enough. However, this was not the end of this move. In the next second, countless black ghosts followed the path of the giant sword and penetrated Kwafu's chest. -180,000, -180,000, -180,000. This was a continuous damage. However, unlike normal continuous damage, the interval between the continuous damage was too short. The number on top of Kwafu's head was so stacked that it was impossible to tell whether it was 180,000, or 1,880,000, or even 1,888,000 continuous damage, 10 times per second for 3 seconds. In just 3 seconds, the total damage was 5,400,000. Seeing this number, the whole field was silent. With a boom, Kwafu, who had 6 million HP, was directly killed. Chapter 253. Even Jiu Si did not expect that his trump card would be killed by Bone King in one hit. Bone King sneered. I knew you had collected all of Kwafu's spirit summoning tablets. My dark moon devours the sun was reserved for you. Unfortunately, a god without divine power is not a god. You are no match for me. Lu Chun understood two things at this time. First, Bone King did not use Dark Moon Devours the Sun because he wanted to save it for Kwafu. For some reason, Bone King knew about the existence of Kwafu's spirit summoning tablet. This meant that Bone King did not think he was the biggest threat, but Kwafu. Moreover, Bone King would not be able to use this skill for a while. Of course, since the Bone King didn't use the Spectre Silk in the battle against Kwafu, Lu Chun could infer that the Spectre Silk, which was almost unavoidable and unbreakable, could only be used a limited number of times by the Bone King. As a result, he used it on himself. Second, it was not that Kwafu was too weak. If Bone King wanted to save a trump card for him, Kwafu could not be weak. It was just that Jiu Si and the others were not strong enough to use Kwafu's full power. However, it was useless to know that now. Kwafu was dead, so were Jiu Si and the others. Ha ha, anyone else want to stop me? Bone King reached out and the souls of the four who were about to return to the rebirth realm were suddenly sucked away. With their souls sucked away, they would not be able to revive their characters unless they waited for Bone King's skill to end. Who knew how long they would have to wait? This Bone King is too scary. I feel like he's going to break through the game dimension wall. Is there something wrong with Tianxing's brain? Who can beat such a boss in the individual tournament? Can the dead players be revived or not? Don't tell me he will never be able to revive? Impossible. There should be a skill duration, but it's too long. It's been almost 40 minutes and the first batch of players can't be revived. They did not know that Bone King's skill duration was at least 24 hours. Bone King took out a treasure and threw it on the ground. It was an iron cage with a woman inside. Lu Chun saw the woman at a glance. It was his disciple, Ning Shuang. All of you die with me. Lu Chun was enraged. Not only did the boss drag him here to humiliate him, he even wanted to kill Ning Shuang in front of him? Even though being killed by wild monsters was not counted in the master-disciple system, killing Frost in front of everyone had already crossed Lu Chen's bottom line. At the critical moment, several figures rushed in front of Lu Chen and Ning Shuang. Stardust and the black hole of the game attempted to snatch the iron cage while the three Adonis brothers rushed towards Lu Chen. Buddha's illumination! Stardust shouted. Black hole, take Ning Shuang away, quick! On the other side, the three Adonis brothers jumped in front of Nameless. Boss, how can we save you? Nameless said, I'm trapped by the Revenant's silk. You can't save me. Save Ning Shuang first. There was no time to think. The three Adonis brothers naturally believed Nameless' words and rushed to save Ning Shuang. Buddha's illumination's damage was not high, but it had the effect of blinding. The original 3 seconds of blinding was reduced to 1 second by Bone King. Black Hole of the game and the other three managed to snatch the iron cage, but Stardust was too late to retreat. Void Slice. A ray of sword light cut Stardust in half. Stardust had not participated in the individual tournament before this, but he wanted to train his combat skills, so he activated the full pain system. This attack dealt 370,000 damage. It made Stardust feel the pain of death. With a scream, Stardust spat out a mouthful of blood. Stardust! Lu Chen exclaimed. Stardust turned around and looked at Lu Chen. He tried his best to relax his painful expression and forced a smile. Nameless, I'm fine. Then, his neck tilted and he died. Bone King did not hold back and quickly collected Stardust's soul. Lu Chen's mind was buzzing. Stardust must have been in a lot of pain at the end. It was unimaginable pain. Even max-level players would cry like ghosts and howl like wolves. But he did not want Nameless to feel that she owed him something, so he offered that smile? When faced with such an invincible enemy, how many people would have the courage to stand up? How many people would dare to stand up? How many people would die for a friend without any reward? Lu Chen suddenly felt that it was a pity that he did not meet Stardust and the others earlier. They were people who could be called brothers. With a roar, Lu Chen's blood rushed to his brain. Bone King, I want you to suffer a fate worse than death. His anger had been ignited. The fire of anger burned fiercely, but Bone King was unmoved. Ha ha, are you angry? Sorry, you can't take revenge by being angry. My specter silk can bind gods like Quafu, let alone a mere human like you. Lu Chen's eyes were red. Is that so? Then today I, a lowly human, will break this specter silk. Inside the specter silk, Lu Chen could not move or use skills. But there was something he could do. He lowered the ratio of his attributes. He could summon his army and battle pets. The army was no match for Bone King, but there was something else they could do. Lu Chen only summoned the little lion head. It's a divine beast. No, this divine beast is not an adult yet. It can't be a match for Bone King. What is Nameless doing? Is he sending the divine beast to its death? What happened next stunned everyone. The little lion head bit at Nameless. 12119. Lu Chen was killed. The moment Nameless was killed, the little lion head returned to Lu Chen's pet pen. Everything happened so suddenly that people's minds were all short-circuited. What is he doing? What is Nameless doing? Did he lower his attributes? But why did he kill himself? Once he dies, Bone King will absorb his soul. No. Nameless must not want to be humiliated, but it won't help. Bone King was stunned for a moment. Then, he snorted. What an idiot! Well, I can get a powerful warrior's soul without shedding a drop of blood. That will save me some trouble. With that said, Bone King tried to absorb Nameless' soul with one hand. However, after the Bone King stretched out its claws, it was unable to collect the Nameless souls several times. What is going on? Absorb the soul. Still, nothing happened. Dry bones. Still, nothing happened. Nameless soul and body were not under Bone King's control. Well, Bone King was confused. How could the skill lose its effect? Right then, the area under Nameless' body was suddenly covered by a ball of purple fire. The fire was raging everywhere. Nameless' anger was growing stronger and stronger. What is going on? Why is it suddenly on fire? What is going on? Why can't Bone King collect Nameless' soul or control his body to become a skeleton soldier? This scene reminds me of a word. A player suddenly said. What word? The people around him asked. That person narrowed his eyes slightly, took a deep breath, and spat out 4 words. Rising from the ashes. Chapter 254. Amidst the purple flames, the man on the ground slowly stood up. His eyes had turned purple, and purple flames were burning all over his body. Behind him, the image of a huge purple phoenix appeared, and it let out a long cry towards the sky. Ning Shuang looked at the back in shock. Master, Ing Jun frowned. I know. I know how John Doe broke the specter's silk. Ing Jun nodded. Yes, after death, the specter's silk can no longer bind the soul. Nameless took advantage of this, and it's the only way to break free from the specter's silk. Even Kwafu couldn't break free from the specter's silk. One could imagine how powerful it was. Normal methods wouldn't work. Bone King had no choice but to accept this man. I didn't expect you to come up with such a method. It's smart, but it's also stupid. You actually got the Purple Flame Phoenix's magic weapon. However, to break free, you've already wasted a life. You can't be so naive as to think that you can defeat me with just one life, right? Lu Chen snorted and said in a low voice, You only bound me because you're afraid of me, right? Dark Moon Devouring Sun is indeed powerful. So is Void Shattering. However, if I can dodge your Void Shattering, it means that I might be able to dodge your Dark Moon Devouring Sunday. You're afraid of wasting such a powerful sure kill skill, so you use the almost unavoidable Specter's Silk to control me. You don't have confidence in yourself, so you can only use such a disgusting thing. The crowd was in an uproar. Bone King said that it was easy to subdue Nameless. He didn't expect the battle to be so dangerous. It seemed that if it weren't for the Specter's Silk, Bone King might not have been able to defeat Nameless. You're really interesting. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? I just don't want to waste time on you. Lu Chen smiled. Now it seems that you'll have to pay the price for your stupid decision. Lu Chen raised his hand and another divine beast appeared in his hand. Bone King's expression became unnatural when he saw the divine beast cub. You actually have this divine beast. And it's even grown. Lu Chen looked at Bone King with a faint smile. My friend didn't die in vain. Before Stardust died, he had used Buddha's light illumination. At that time, he had rushed into the departed soul shield to activate the skill. Everyone's attention was focused on the others, and they had forgotten that Stardust's Buddha's illumination actually had a blinding effect. This was extremely important. What did it mean to be effective when Bone King's Shield of the Dead was still active? This meant that as long as he was close enough to the Bone King, he would be able to use the skill's special effect when he was inside the Spectre Shield. Therefore, the only way to defeat the Bone King was to engage it in melee combat without the slightest chance to pull away. Calf was actually a Swanee cub. This cub's size was about the same as Hundun's. This meant that it had completed its first growth. As for the little guy's skill, probability of stun. After giving him a new skill, John Doe put away Tao Wu and looked at Bone King. Bone King, I don't care where you come from, and I don't care what you are. Remember my words, whoever touches my people must pay the price. God of War Possession. Transform. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Chen quickly moved and instantly closed the distance between him and Skeleton King. Skeleton King hurriedly retreated. Unfortunately, Lu Chen still had quick movement. He had already expected Skeleton King to retreat. This also showed that Skeleton King's weakness was that he was afraid of getting close to him. It was hard to imagine that a boss with such a huge and terrifying appearance was afraid of getting close to him. Perhaps this was also a kind of disguise. Lu Chen's two quick movements left a long path of flames under his feet. In an instant, Lu Chen had already arrived in front of Skeleton King. You're asking for it. Shatter Void, let's see how you're going to dodge it. The distance was too close, and it had exceeded the limit of human reaction. Even Lu Chen could not use a clone to dodge Shatter Void at such a close distance. Let's see how you're going to dodge it. It was actually very simple. If you can't dodge it, don't dodge it. Lu Chen did not dodge it. He took the hit head-on. Minus 320,000. Lu Chen's health points dropped by 2/3. Master. Brother. Big brother. Lu Yi almost exposed her identity. Everyone's heart felt like it was being hammered by a heavy hammer. 32% of his health points was already unbearable for them. With Skeleton King's attack, if he touched Lu Chen again, Lu Chen might really die. It was after taking all of the damage from Shatter Void that Nameless was able to get close to Skeleton King. Doppelganger! Wu Ming roared. Nameless' next sentence shocked everyone. I'm sorry, you're already dead. The three Adonis brothers looked at the battlefield in surprise. This isn't Nameless too confident? He just got close. Skeleton King's health points can't be seen even now. Nameless shouldn't be so careless. He's our only hope now. However, Nameless was such a purple heart. 6 doppelgangers, plus 1 main body, 7 evil demons attacked the Bone King fiercely. Tiger descends the mountain. Lu Chen roared and attacked. Minus 24,111, minus 15750, poisoned, minus 15,750, poisoned, minus 86484, double critical hit, minus 15,750, poisoned, minus 15,759, poisoned. Nameless dealt over 400,000 plus damage with an 18 hit. At the same time, the Vampire Bat Talent's HP recovery came into play at this time. A single attack would recover 20,000 plus HP. It was important to note that the giant Vampire Bat's HP recovery was only calculated based on normal attack damage, so the poison damage could not be recovered. Therefore, Nameless only recovered 20,000 plus HP when he dealt 400,000 plus damage. Nameless' damage was already very high, but compared to the clone's damage, Nameless' damage was weak. The clone's damage was off the charts. Although they were not as powerful as Tiger Descends the Mountain, and their damage was reduced by 20%, with 6 clones attacking at the same time, the damage was unheard of. The debuffs on Skeleton King were crazily refreshed. Silence, slow, stun, poison, poison, silence, poison, stun, stun, poison, ignite. Skeleton King did not even have a chance to wake up. However, after attacking for a long time, Skeleton King's HP did not decrease. In addition to relying on the souls to recover, the Revenant Shield also had an overpowered ability. It could convert the HP lost by the owner. Skeleton King's HP bar was actually changing. Its HP limit had also been revealed. It was as high as 20 million. However, the Revenant Shield was desperately helping to recover its HP. The Revenant Shield's durability limit was 600,000, but it could still rely on the souls to recover. In short, Lu Chen had to deplete the Revenant Shield first before he could really reduce Skeleton King's HP. All the players were sweating for Nameless. Damn, Skeleton King's HP is really overpowered. If I calculate, I estimate it to be at least 50 million. Nameless can almost always stun Skeleton King with his clones. But if his clones are gone, I don't know if he can still stun Skeleton King. Nameless, go for it. Chapter 255. As it turned out, the players' worries were unfounded. Nameless was the true definition of infinite stun. For 10 whole minutes, Nameless' health bar was full, but the Bone King did not even move once. That's too strong. It's been 10 minutes. Nameless is invincible in a one-on-one fight. Once he gets close, he'll be stunned to death. Don't forget, the Bone King has stun resistance. The chance of stun is small, and the stun duration is short. Nameless can stun it for 10 minutes. Nameless' doppelganger was about to expire, but he still had an active stun skill. Lu Chen hit the Bone King with his staff. The Bone King was stunned for 1 second. At the same time, Lu Chen activated a second doppelganger. Nameless' damage had decreased, but the problem was that the Bone King still did not have a chance to wake up. Oh my god, Nameless Doppelganger doesn't have a cooldown period. That's insane. Brother John Doe, what kind of orange equipment is that? Why is there such an unreasonable special effect? I suddenly remembered what Nameless said at the beginning. If he gets close, the Bone King will be dead. Not long after, the Bone King's bug-level skill, Soul Shield, finally stopped self-healing. In an instant, 600,000 durability was transferred to the Bone King. Nameless' next attack was finally able to touch the Bone King's health bar. 20 million health was still not enough to withstand a group of doppelganger. Poisoned, stunned, silenced, slowed, poisoned, ignited. It was a real group attack, a real beating. The 7 nameless doppelganger attacked like crazy. It was impossible to see who was dealing the damage. A pile of damage stacked together and appeared at the same time. The Bone King's health bar was dropping at a visible rate. Ning Shuang shook her head and sighed. So this is Master's true strength. Oh my god, what's with the 600 level max player? It was just a joke. One of the level 37 players had an ugly expression on his face. He was really stupid. When Nameless proposed such a ridiculous bet, he should have felt that something was wrong. He actually went along with Rain God and the others. Now, he was hidden among a group of players, and no one knew that he was one of the players who had once maxed out. Nameless. He is indeed the strongest in the entire server. At this point, anyone with gaming knowledge would know that Nameless could not make a mistake. Even if he made a mistake, it would be fine. A bunch of clones could help him complete the kill. 5 minutes later, the Bone King had only 300,000 HP left. His HP bar was barely visible. The Skeleton King was already in a daze. If the HP provided by the Spectre Shield was included, its total HP could reach 70 million. However, it did not wake up even once. It also had a lot of powerful techniques, super high attacks, and its departed soul throne. Even the Spectre Damask's cooldown was almost over. However, in the face of dizziness, everything was like floating clouds. As for the last 300,000, Nameless put away her doppelganger. Her true self went down the mountain like a fierce tiger and took Bone King away. No, impossible, this is impossible. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Bone King screamed. Its body turned into white bones and fell to the ground. Sorry, what you said is impossible has already happened. Nameless coldly snorted, scram, trash. At this moment, countless black specters let out a series of bone-chilling screams as they fled in all directions. Most of the specters rushed towards the rebirth mirror not far away from Firmament City. Lu Chen faintly smiled. It seemed that the specters of the players had been released. He wondered which one of them belonged to Stardust. Killed Bone King Lenoric, level 50 boss. Revived with 12 million world spirit. Obtained rank 1 talent fragment x10. Obtained rank 1 evolution points x10. Obtained Demon God's Heart x1. Obtained Demon God's Fragment x1. Lu Chen had never seen the items that the Bone King dropped before. F***CK, what the hell is this? Ding! Obtained Undead Throne, Dark Gold. Bone King's Assault Ring, level 50 Dark Gold. Demon God's Temple Invitation, unique quest item. Mountain Splitting Sea Scroll, mysterious level cultivation method. Bone King's Crushed Bones, X5, orange material. The Bone King's items were all different. It directly dropped 2 dark gold items, and even the materials were orange. Among them was the Demon God's Temple Invitation, that Lu Chen had always wanted. After the twilight of the God's Dungeon, Lu Chen finally found the second of the 3 hidden dungeons. This time, he didn't get a key, but an invitation. He didn't know what the difference was. Damn, how can any of the 3 hidden dungeons be easy to find? Lu Chen shook his head and complained. What divine blood demonic seed quest? This difficulty was simply inhumane. Now was not the time to check his equipment. After killing Bone King, Lu Chen could finally rest for a while. Not long after, a large number of players revived. Although they were caught in the game, they could still watch the live broadcast. And the scene of John Doe fighting Bone King had undoubtedly shocked them to the core. When Nameless was hit by Void Destroyer and lost 2/3 of his health, They were almost in despair. If Nameless died again, they would have to go to the Heavenly Network headquarters to protest. Fortunately, Nameless didn't disappoint them. He directly feinted the Bone King for 70 million health. Nameless bro, thanks. Nameless bro, you're so cool. I don't have any white fans. Stardust had also returned. When he saw Nameless, he smiled cheekily. Hey Nameless, why are you so excited when I'm dead? Let me tell you, I'm a straight man. Lu Chun was really amused by this guy. He punched him. What are you thinking? Jokes aside, Stardust patted Nameless' shoulder heavily. Nameless, from now on, you're my brother, no matter in the game or in real life. That's right. Nameless bro, we definitely can't compare to you in the game. But in real life, if you encounter any problems, look for us. The game's black hole also walked over. The three Adonis brothers also came over. The three of them said proudly, "It's not that we're bragging, but there aren't many things that we can't handle in the outside world." Lu Chun didn't doubt this. This group of people were rich, and not just rich. They didn't care for tens of millions. How rich were their families? To put it bluntly, their families were probably not inferior to Ning Shuang's. Of course, Lu Chun was thinking too much. Now that his influence in real life was growing, at least in Nanjiang City, with the military and Secretary Lin, he had nothing to worry about. Master. Ning Shuang rushed over and threw herself into Nameless' arms. You're here to save me, right? I knew you wouldn't leave me behind. Lu Chun blinked. This girl was in public. Wasn't it a little inappropriate for her to have such a big reaction? Moreover, was the relationship between master and disciple so intimate? It was just that this soft touch. No, Lu Chun, what are you thinking? This is a game, don't think too much. Chapter 256. Everyone was discussing Nameless' strength. Many girls looked at the legendary god of war standing beside them with stars in their eyes. Although Lu Chun did not like to be in the limelight, he was gradually getting used to the feeling of being the center of attention. He had no choice. He wanted to keep a low profile, but his strength did not allow him to. Not long after, someone squeezed through the crowd and tugged at Nameless' sleeve. Lu Chun looked back curiously. The newcomer was actually Exquisite Purple Heart. Lu Chun was a little confused. Why would this woman come looking for him? Could it be that she had taken things too hard? Exquisite Zixin was a little embarrassed. She hesitated for a long time before saying, "Thank you." I was killed by Bone King before. Lu Chun frowned. He did not expect this woman to be here to thank him. Lu Chun smiled. No need to thank me. I'm just here to kill the boss. Exquisite Zixin was a little embarrassed. She nodded. I know, but thank you anyway. Lu Chun smiled. He was not very interested in Exquisite's kindness. However, as long as she was not here to cause trouble, Lu Chun was not so narrow-minded as to hold a grudge against her. Speaking of which, Exquisite did not gain anything from him. Instead, she suffered a double loss. This small interlude passed quickly. Nameless was soon surrounded by others. Exquisite Zixin sighed. She did not expect her old enemy to be standing at the peak of the entire server. Moreover, he was so far away. Revenge? Forget it. There was no more chance. It was good enough that he could let bygones be bygones. Bone King had passed away, but it was still the individual competition. According to the rules, the final ranking had to be decided today. The organizers did not dare to delay this matter and immediately organized people to repair the battlefield. Under everyone's efforts, the 9 arenas were rebuilt. This time, Lu Chun did not leave. Ning Shuang dragged him to watch her match. Lu Chun had already passed through the undead gate. So what if he wanted to watch? Ning Shuang's battle was unexpectedly exciting. This girl was also willing to work hard. Her level and equipment were not weak. She was actually on par with Leitang Emperor. Ning Shuang is much stronger than before, Louis said. Lu Chun smiled. Don't you know who her master is? Lu Yi pouted. Humph, I'm your disciple. Speaking of which, she has to call me senior sister. Lu Chen smiled. He knew that his sister was jealous. He patted her head and said, Silly girl, how can you be the same as her? Lu Yi naturally knew that no matter when, her brother doted on her the most. In this match, it was as if Ning Shuang was on steroid. In the end, she defeated Lei Tang Emperor with her HP advantage and successfully advanced to the top 32. During the intermission, a newly formed girl group was performing on the main stage. Lu Chen was surprised to find that Xian Xian was actually in the center position. Haha, Xian Xian's dance is so sexy, Hua Luo said happily. The beauties in our group are all very powerful. Lu Chen walked to Ling Nua's side and asked, Nua, how's your development recently? Ling Nua saw that it was nameless and said embarrassedly, a few crews have already sent over scripts. I'm currently choosing one. Guild leader, there's someone's script that I like. It's just that they've requested to borrow our guild territory, so be it. It doesn't matter. That, they also asked me if you can leave the country, leave the country. Lu Chen's original intention was to refuse. However, after thinking about it, if Ling Nua wasn't particularly satisfied with this script, he probably wouldn't even mention it. Lu Chen thought for a while and said, It's fine if I make a cameo appearance. However, I don't know how to act. When the time comes, teach me. Ling Nua didn't expect her guild leader to agree so readily. She looked at Lu Chen gratefully. It's easy to make a cameo appearance. It's definitely not a problem. Thank you, guild leader. Lu Chen smiled slightly. For someone who was almost kicked out of the entertainment industry, being able to find a script that she liked was already a great improvement. It seemed that Ling Nua's efforts had paid off. What's there to thank me for? I'm just a hands-off shopkeeper. I should thank you for Wild Wave's success today. While the few of them were chatting, a man squeezed out from behind the crowd. When he saw this person, Lu Chen was stunned for a moment. The king of pop, Jay Chou. He didn't expect that the king of pop in real life would also be in the game. His level wasn't low either. He was level 36. Jay Chou? Jalen smiled and nodded. Nameless, I saw your battle just now. It's hard to imagine that you're actually stronger than the rumors say. Nameless, are you interested in being the male lead in my new MV? Just treat it as playing around. I feel like I'm bursting with inspiration right now. The male lead in Jay Chou's MV was very rare. However, Lu Chen still politely declined. Jay Chou, I'm sorry. I can't be the male lead. However, I really like all your songs. I'm looking forward to your new song. Jay Chou was also an open-minded person. He smiled and said, Don't be modest. You're already the male lead. You're the male lead of the Jiutian Huaxia server. I know that you're low-key. It's fine if you don't play the male lead. I've already recorded my new song. Please listen to it together. Lu Chen smiled. Okay. After the dance, the competition continued. In the top 32, Ning Shuang met ESD's Xiao Yaofeng, who had a high chance of winning. In front of the experienced and all-round Xiao Yaofeng, Ning Shuang lost in the end. After losing the competition, Ning Shuang dejectedly came to Lu Chen's side. She lowered her head and whispered, Master, I'm sorry. I lost. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. It's fine. Your performance is already very good. That Xiao Yaofeng is already a top-notch expert. Without the advantage of equipment and level, it would be hard for me to beat him. You've only trained for a short while. I'm very satisfied with your performance. Really? Ning Shuang raised her head and looked at her master excitedly. This was the first time her master had praised her. Top 16, top 8, semi-finals, and finals. The last to enter the finals arena was an official ESD's Xiao Yaofeng and an unspecialized with the ID Skywalker Sword. Xiao Yaofeng was a nightmare elf, while Skywalker Sword was a warrior monk. The two of them fought a battle of wits and courage. One wanted to get close to the other, while the other wanted to increase the distance. All sorts of skills were fake and real, and the changes were brilliant. Both of them are experts. Injun sighed from the bottom of his heart. Indeed. Both of them are experienced. Their level and equipment are about the same. They also have a deep understanding of their jobs. There were almost no mistakes during the competition. It was really brilliant. After an intense competition, neither of them managed to kill the other. When the competition ended, Xiao Yaofeng lost 87.44% of his HP, while Skywalker's sword lost 87.53% of his HP. The difference was less than 1%. In the end, Xiao Yaofeng won by a close margin with a normal attack. He took first place in the individual tournament. And Eilon walked up the stage and said to Xiao Yaofeng excitedly, "Xiao Yao, I don't need to introduce you. Xiao Yao, the leader of an old guild. Do you have anything to say to everyone after taking first place?" Xiao Yao shook his head. And Eilon was a little depressed. "We're all experts so quiet, say it. Tell me your thoughts." Xiao Yaofeng thought for a while and finally took the microphone. He looked at everyone below the stage and laughed at himself. "Everyone knows that my first place is just an empty title." Everyone in the arena quietened down. I don't dare to speak about the situation of the other servers. After all, their route has become more and more different from our Huaxia server after the closed beta players appeared. However, in the Huaxia server, there are only 2 people who are worthy of first place. After Xiao Yaofeng finished speaking, he looked at Lu Chen, who was below the stage. Xiao Yao nodded slightly at Lu Chen. Many people said that Mad God and Nameless broke the balance of the game. However, I don't think so. I want to thank them for their existence. They let me know that there's always someone better than me. They let me know that Jiutian is a magnificent world. There are many unimaginable legendary treasures waiting for us to discover. I also want to thank them for giving me the motivation to become stronger. The merging of the servers is imminent. The merging of the Asian servers should happen soon after the merging of the servers. This is a challenge, but also an opportunity. Nameless, don't be too proud. Xiao Yao smiled. Don't let us give up on chasing after your footsteps. We, the players of the Huaxia server, will never admit defeat. After being called out, Lu Chen was not angry at all. He took a step forward and smiled at Xiao Yaofeng. He nodded slightly at him and showed a look of approval. Clap, 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 clap. Nameless raised both hands and led the applause. Xiao Yao, well said. This Jiutian is more interesting. Chapter 257. The 100-day celebration of the Jiutian server had ended. Although the Huaxia server was unfortunate enough to encounter the Bone King, it was still a successful completion. After the competition, Lu Chen returned to his territory. This time, he had obtained 2 more dark gold equipment from killing the Bone King. Lu Chen checked the attributes of the 2 equipment. Undead Throne, dark gold. Strength 1900, Agility 1800, Physique 2200, Spiritual Power 200. Special Effect 1. Symbol of Identity. Damage to undead creatures increased by 30%. Lu Chen almost vomited blood. F***CK. Do you have to be so capricious? Symbol of Identity. Special Effect 2. Soul Capture. As long as a unit dies within a 100-meter radius of the player, the undead throne will absorb 1 soul value of the dead unit and keep it as reserve. The reserve limit is player's level *1000. Special Effect 3. Soul Crystal. When the soul reserve is more than 50%, a demon god fragment and a demon god heart can be formed every month. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. Treasures have such a function? Although Lu Chen had not used these 2 materials yet, he could tell that the level of these items was very high based on the owner's information. It was very likely that they were the follow-up materials of the ancient materials. The Bone King was already dead. What was depressing was that it had destroyed the dungeon. In other words, he would not be able to farm the Bone King in the future. Naturally, he would not be able to get the demon god materials. To be able to automatically form such a level of material every month was definitely a huge fortune. Special Effect 4: Shield Replenishment. Use the souls collected to replenish the durability of any type of shield. 1 soul value will replenish 1 point of durability. When replenishing a soul-type shield, 1 soul value will replenish 5 points of durability. Lu Chen now understood that the reason why the Bone King had been able to replenish its shield was because of this dark gold treasure. Lu Chen also had a shield, but unfortunately, his blood sacrifice shield was not a soul-type shield. 1 soul value could only replenish 1 point. Lu Chen looked at his current spiritual power value. The maximum soul reserve was more than 700,000. This meant that his shield could block more than 700,000 damage, which was already very good. Not bad, not bad. As expected of a dark gold artifact. Although it's not an attack type, its basic attributes are high and its special effects are also very strong. The advantage of magical equipment was that there was no limit to the number of magical equipment. Players could equip a large number of magical equipment. As long as you had the ability to obtain them, you could use them. Compared to the throne, which focused on defense and resource production, the other dark gold equipment focused entirely on attack. Bone King's Assault Ring, Level 50 Dark Gold. Attack. Physical attack 1000 to 2000, magic attack 300. There's such a huge difference between the upper and lower attack limits. It was Lu Chen's first time seeing such unique equipment. Strength 2300, Agility 2000, Physique 1700, Spiritual Power 200 at the Dark Gold grade. Equipment generally began to add spiritual power. Special Effect 1: Rapid Onslaught. Increases attack speed by 200%. All attacks will only deal the highest damage. Duration: 30 seconds. Cooldown: 300 minutes. Special Effect 2: Bladestorm. Transform into a Bladestorm and attack all targets within the range of the Bladestorm. All enemies within a 50-meter radius will be immune to continuous damage while casting Bladestorm. Duration: 100 seconds. Cooldown: 600 seconds. Special Effect 3: In a state of war, all techniques will be lowered. Special Effect Cooldown: 10 seconds. Lu Chen was completely stunned. The Bone King's attack was very strong. His only weakness was probably his lack of control. If he didn't stun him infinitely, he would be in danger if he used Rapid Onslaught. Bladestorm was a godly AoE skill. The main point was this somewhat inconspicuous state of war. The cooldown of all skills was reduced by 10 seconds. Lu Chen could use rapid movement twice within 20 seconds. Moreover, the Devil equipment set also had the Demon King's Will, which could refresh the cooldown of skills with a cooldown of less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes was the cooldown of many powerful skills, such as Doppelganger, Bladestorm, Devil's Pardon, which could nullify the opponent's skill once, and the most disgusting skill in history, Devour in the past. The Demon King's Will couldn't refresh these skills because their cooldown was stuck at 10 minutes. However, with the reduction of 10 seconds, there was a qualitative change. They could be refreshed by the Demon King's Will. Right, the effect of the Muchin Pearl seems to have improved too. The Muchin Pearl collected pure spiritual energy once a minute, but now it was once every 50 seconds. Also, if I use Doppelganger twice, will there be a situation? Lu Chen thought of this and immediately used Doppelganger. A total of 6 Doppelganger appeared beside him. Demon King's Will. Demon Doppelganger. Wishful Doppelganger. The 2 Doppelganger belonged to 2 pieces of equipment. In an instant, Lu Chen had Doppelganger again. 12 Doppelganger stood beside Lu Chen. My God! Lu Chen was so excited that he almost couldn't count. What he wanted to confirm was this point. After the doppelganger was refreshed, would the original doppelganger still exist? Now it seemed that unless the doppelganger disappeared automatically or Lu Chen took the initiative to make it disappear, the original doppelganger wouldn't disappear after the skill was refreshed. In other words, Lu Chen could now have 12 doppelganger at most. Too strong, too strong. Lu Chen was so excited that he was somewhat incoherent. This was equivalent to his combat power almost doubled. These two pieces of equipment once again proved the strength of dark gold equipment. After his strength increased again, Lu Chen's gaze fell on the God and Devil invitation. It's time to take a look at the God and Devil Palace. After using the invitation, Lu Chen was directly teleported to a strange space. He couldn't see the ground here and it was pitch black below his feet. However, Lu Chen could feel that he was standing here. In front of him, there were two huge dungeon entrances. The entrances were in a state of chaos. In the middle of the two doors stood an old man. Lu Chen actually knew this old man. Upon seeing this old man, Lu Chen's first words were, "Old man, you're actually here?" I'm a little thirsty. Do you still have tea?" This old man's cup of tea increased his spiritual energy by 50 points. Lu Chen couldn't wait to drink 10 pots of it. The old man smiled slightly. "Young man, we meet again. However, this time I don't have tea to entertain you. Did you see the words above my head?" Lu Chen really didn't pay attention to the old man's ID just now. He was thinking about the immortal tea. At this moment, Lu Chen was stunned for a moment. The words above the old man's head were "Scattered Immortal Remnant Soul." The old man was really an immortal. Although he was only a scattered immortal, he was still an immortal. However, this time, Lu Chen actually encountered the old man's remnant soul. "My main body has already left. This is a remnant soul that I left behind. Naturally, I can't entertain you." The old man smiled kindly. "Oh right, how is my rhubarb?" Lu Chen directly called out rhubarb from the beast pen. When rhubarb saw the old man, it wagged its tail so hard that it almost flew up. "Ha ha ha, rhubarb, you've gained weight again. Looks like your new master didn't mistreat you." Lu Chen was a little puzzled. Did rhubarb eat? Divine beasts ate pure spiritual energy and soul essences. However, rhubarb didn't eat anything. How did it gain weight? Could it be that it was beaten up by those little fellows? Seeing rhubarb, the old man seemed very happy. He smiled and said, "Young man, if fate wills it, perhaps we'll meet again in a certain heaven domain. At that time, remember to bring rhubarb along." "Okay, I'll remember." The old man nodded slightly, and all right. Let's stop reminiscing here. Next, let's take the test. Lu Chen frowned. "Test? Test your divine demon attribute," the old man said indifferently. Chapter 258. Elder, are divine demons of the divine demon attribute? Lu Chen asked, puzzled. Infinity gives birth to Tai Chi, and Tai Chi gives birth to Yin and Yang. Everyone has both good and evil in their body. This is the divine demon attribute of each person, the old man explained patiently. Of course, everyone's divine demon attribute is not equal. This is related to the environment, people, and things they encounter. Therefore, everyone's divine demon attribute is different. The game had actually started to discuss life. However, the old man's explanation was still easy to understand. Lu Chen roughly understood. Elder, what does the divine demon attribute test have to do with the divine demon temple? The old man smiled and said slowly, the divine demon temple is actually made up of two places, the temple of God and the demon temple. As you can see, there are two doors here. If you test more divinity, you'll enter the temple of God. If you test more divinity, you'll enter the demon temple. Elder, if I only enter one of the dungeons, will it be considered as clearing the divine demon temple? No. Lu Chen was hit by 1,000,000 points of critical hit. What kind of king rule was this? There were 2 dungeons in the Divine Demon Temple, but he could only challenge one. So the question was, how was he going to complete the Divine Demon Seed mission? No matter how high Luchen's martial strength is now, he can't do anything when encountering such a thing. There was no solution. Elder, can we discuss? Open a back door or something. There must be a way, right? You know I have the Divine Demon Seed mission, right? I'm getting closer and closer to the final success. I can't just give up like this. Lu Chen was a little agitated. His voice was trembling as he spoke. Speaking of which, he had only glanced at the mission. He did not think he could complete it at all, so he did not take it seriously. However, it was different now. Of the 4 ultimate divine beasts, he had already obtained 2, the Azure Dragon and the Aurora White Tiger. Of the 4 ultimate divine beasts, he had obtained the Black Rock Dragon Emperor, the Purple Flame Phoenix, and the Sky-Devouring Demonic Tiger. Of the 3 dungeons, he had cleared the Twilight of the Gods, and now he had found the Demon Temple. It was no exaggeration to say that none of the missions he had completed were easy. None of them could be completed by a normal person. After going through so many hardships and seeing that he was getting closer and closer to his goal, Lu Chen was naturally unwilling to accept his failure because of the rules. However, the old man remained unmoved. A faint smile still hung on his face. This is not something that I can decide. This is the rule. Unless you can surpass the rule one day, you can only obey. The only thing Lu Chen could do was shake his head. He kept shaking his head, feeling an unprecedented sense of powerlessness. The old man didn't say a word as he watched Lu Chen on the verge of breaking down. After a long time, Lu Chen suddenly raised his head and stared at the old man. No, I don't believe in rules. Rules are made by people, so why can't I break them? There must be another way. Otherwise, this mission wouldn't even exist. If the Bone King can break the dungeon that binds it, why can't I break the demonic palace? After seeing Lu Chen's transformation, the old man's eyes flashed with praise and gratification. It seemed that this young man didn't just rely on luck to get to where he was today. Then, are you going to take the test or not? The old man smiled at Lu Chen. Lu Chen took a deep breath and said resolutely, "Take the test. No matter what, I have to enter a dungeon first." The old man nodded. He stretched out one hand and stood between him and Lu Chen. A translucent circular yin and yang formation appeared in front of Lu Chen. Calm down and don't set up any defenses. Otherwise, the test will be biased, the old man said. Although Lu Chen didn't care about the results of the test, he was still curious. Did he have more divinity or magic? Lu Chen took a deep breath and calmed himself down. The yin and yang formation began to rotate on its own. The black and white parts merged, separated, merged again, and separated again. Lu Chen couldn't understand what this meant. In short, it looked like the black and white parts were competing and transforming. It also seemed like they were fusing and coexisting. It felt quite magical. After a while, the final results came out. Lu Chen couldn't understand the yin and yang formation, but he could read the data on it. Divinity. 50% magic, 50% holy sh*t. Lu Chen never expected the results to be like this. Old man, this isn't right. I think I should have more divinity. Is it related to my negative mood just now? The old man smiled. Your mood was stable during the test. You met the test requirements, so I gave you the test. There's no deviation in this result. Magic doesn't have to kill people and set fires. Selfishness, greed, and hatred are all types of magic. You can ask yourself, are you selfish? Are you greedy? Lu Chen didn't even have to think about it. He knew himself quite well. Old man, if you put it that way, I'm actually quite selfish. Greed, I'm actually quite greedy. If that's the case, 50-50 is actually quite reasonable. The old man laughed. That's it. You have a good side and a bad side. Then, with my results, does it mean that I can enter both dungeons? Yes, you can enter both dungeons. Lu Chen's eyes widened. This was really an unexpected surprise. He felt like he had climbed from hell to heaven. Ha 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 ha, that's great. Young man, the old man suddenly interrupted Lu Chen's laughter. Do you still remember what I said to you when we first met? You invited me to tea. Not this, take care of rhubarb? Could it be a mythological beast? By the way, old man, do you know where a mythological beast is? The old man was speechless. A mythological beast, I think you should have guessed where it is. Lu Chen nodded. There should be one in Firmament City. At that time, Bone King didn't dare to enter Firmament City. I guess it's a very strong mythological beast's remnant soul. Would Bone King be afraid of a mythological beast? The old man gave Lu Chen a meaningful look. You'll have to find out for yourself, but that's not what I want to say, Lu Chen, remember my words. Whether you become a solipsistic or a nameless, it's up to you. With that, the old man's remnant soul gradually blurred and finally disappeared. Now, there were only 2 doors in front of Lu Chen. Lu Chen pondered the old man's 2 points. Would Bone King be afraid of a mythological beast? With Bone King's strength, even the strongest mythological beast remnant soul, the heaven-devouring demonic tiger, was far from its opponent. Why wouldn't it dare to attack Firmament City? Suddenly, Lu Chen's eyes flashed. Yes, Bone King wouldn't be afraid of a mythological beast, but what if Firmament City has more than one mythological beast guarding the mountain? A level 10 main city like Immortal Mountain had a mythological beast remnant soul guarding the mountain. It was completely reasonable for Firmament City to have a few. Also, Bone King could get so close to Firmament City, but the mythological beasts didn't take the initiative to attack, and Bone King didn't attack Firmament City. In that case, it's very likely that the mythological beasts of Firmament City are better at defense. They may not be able to kill Bone King, but it's also very difficult for Bone King to capture Firmament City. This important clue gave Lu Chen hope of finding the remaining mythological beasts, but Lu Chen couldn't be sure of this matter for the time being. He needed to verify it in the future. As for the choice between solipsistic and nameless, Lu Chen seemed to have understood something. Could it be related to divinity and demonic nature? Lu Chen shook his head. This choice was still too early for him. Forget it, let's go through the demonic god temple first. With that, Lu Chen thought for a while and entered the temple first. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.